going on, everybody? The game is over, and as expected, for 18 consecutive weeks of the NFL preseason, the undefeated season, the Baltimore Ravens have won in preseason. Even though it took 4 quarters to pass the team that had 5 turnovers in the game in points, the Ravens still got the job done. If anybody, is kind of didn't see the earlier stream, we are going to just be recapping, talking about the game. So if you want us to talk about a certain player, talk about a certain play, talk about a certain moment, we will talk about all of that stuff. I personally don't have anything holding me back in terms of how long I can stream. I can go forever. Joshua, I don't know about you. Yeah, so we honestly, there's a good chance we're streaming until next game. We are going to be talking about this thing forever. It's going to be a lot of fun. But what's going on? I see D-Fraud was the first person in here. What's going on? Well, you do love to see it. You really do. It looked kind of glum. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This was probably one of the most boring preseason games in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, offensively, this was bad. And, it wasn't like it was crazy, amazing defense. There were some great plays that were played, but it was tough. What's going on, Fire Lion?
It definitely reminds you like early 2000 football. Like, everybody just, going out for 3 and out.
Or maybe like 1930s football where it's like kind of poor passing and also 3 and outs a lot.
That too.
Depressed Median says Huntley is better than Trace McSorley. I was kind of iffy on which one do we want to go with? Oh my goodness. Tyler Huntley, like statistically they were pretty similar, but Tyler Huntley absolutely killed it. And I will say I was spot on in my prediction because if you look at the passing box score, Trace McSorley led the Ravens in passing.
Yeah.
Which is
Tyler is just, I do have Rob Woodson and the crew. They're still talking, but they said it. He's not a spitting image, but he's a playmaker just like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And, let's be honest. This offense is suitable for guys that that does RPOs and things of that nature. This is second nature to these guys. So it's nothing against Trace. I'll give it to Trace, because he definitely knows how to stand in the pocket, take a hit. He does, he tries to evade pressure. But, man, come on, man. But
we got to be fair, though. We got to be fair to Trace. The offensive line was horrible. It's not like he could do much. But, I think Trace showed the type of player he is, even though the offensive line was really bad. Mm-hmm. Trace still struggled, but Tyler Huntley was able to use his mobility. Now, the pressure wasn't as bad, but right when Tyler Huntley first came in, he made that first play where they crashed around him and he books it. Got about 17 yards, I want to say, for a first down, and it was like, that's what we need when the offensive line is poor. Like, that's what Lamar does when there's bad blocking. And I want to first thing I need to talk about right now before the overreactions. Right now, because I see people talking about it.
Yeah.
I see people bringing them up. Okay. I saw a lot of comments. Okay.
And I forgot about Geno.
Most overrated performance, Geno Stone. Most overrated. Okay. I know he's getting a lot of hype, and props to him. He made the plays that needed to be made. I'm not saying he was bad by any means. He played well. But it's not like he was baiting, and it's not like he was making people were like, oh, it's like Ed Reed.
He was going to get played.
It was a horrible throw by Taysom Hill, who missed his wide receiver by about 3 yards on an overthrow. And then it was a play by Chris Westry to punch the ball in the air, and Geno Stone made a play. Now, is every player on the Ravens making that play? No, they're not. Those are some difficult plays. He made the sliding grab and the diving grab. Those are still good plays. But let's not act like he was going out there like Ed Reed baiting Peyton Manning, coming out. No, he was in the right place at the right time and he made the play. So props to him. But this isn't something that's like, oh, he's solidified a roster spot or anything like that. Because the most impressive safety to me, it was Ardarius Washington. He was around the football, and he made a diving swat on a critical third down. He made the quarterback. I don't think it was Ian Book. It was the quarterback after Ian Book was able to come in, and he got he wasn't able to make the sack, but he made a big impact on that play, and quarterback made a big play. Like, he was all around the ball. But oh my goodness, there's a lot of people talking. Shaun Wade interception, yes. Also a massive Shaun Wade pass interference. Or it was a defensive holding, I think it was, which was tough. Ray Geno Stones, I would give it like a 7 or an 8. Like, I'm not saying he was bad. 7 or an 8 is a good score.
Yeah, I mean, Geno Stone, he came out of, University of Iowa. I think he had one of the highest ratings for a safety coming into the NFL. Could be wrong.
He was a 4th round draft projection, and the Ravens got him in the 7th.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, we definitely know he has capability, but I mean, like we kind of said, good. He was in the right place and right time, and he has been making. I know he has been, making a noise on special teams. I know Adam Levine kind of took him under his wings, so to speak. But if he can make it on the team and stack those days in practice and really, solidify his position as a safety, a ball hawking safety, maybe that can definitely help us out. Versus us trying to look for somebody in the draft. We could use that draft pick next year for, future O-lineman or something like that. So, I mean, shout outs to Geno. Keep working, keep getting to it. But I love how Brandon Stevens was around the ball. I love the way he was around the ball today, man.
Brandon Stevens was around the ball. I'll also say Geno Stone was drafted as a ball hawk. That was his calling card. That's what he was at Iowa. Iowa produces ball hawks. And I'm like 95% confident his first preseason 2 years ago, he did have an interception in that preseason 2 years ago.
So it might be a whole Deshaun Elliott thing all over again.
Like, overall, like, it was good. He played well. I'm happy for him. There was a lot of things about him. Let's go to this. There's so many comments. I'll just click on this one. What's going on? Sancho says, my boy, I always think, because people always say Dev, but it's Duve. Played well today. Prochet is not above him. Okay, I was very excited to watch both of these players play.
Yeah,
I was extremely disappointed when the first time Duvernay gets the ball.
It's a gadget play.
It's a jet sweep. I'm like, oh no. Greg Roman's like, he's a gadget player, and he played well. Both of them I think played well. I don't think either of them played poorly. I think they were both very restricted by the Ravens offense and the lack of blocking. We weren't able to see either of them do really anything special. Duvernay had a big, I believe it was a 3rd down completion for about 15 yards that he caught, which was solid. But I mean, the passing in the first, when these guys were playing, the passing was terrible. There was nothing happening whatsoever. It was like, oh, nobody's out there. I will say the most shocking thing, there's one player who was out there the entire game. Jalen Moore. He was out there on the first possession.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Is Jalen Moore the secret preseason standout? And then he was playing like in the 4th quarter. And I was like, okay, this guy played with everybody. I thought that was pretty interesting. He didn't play amazing. He didn't play bad, but I saw him on special teams. I saw him kind of doing everything. So that was interesting. Here's a good question by Alpha Bro. I almost read it as Alpha Bro. Alpha Bro J52. How did Adafe look? He looked great. I mean, I think that was exactly what you could expect from him. He had a big-time run stop where he shed the guy as the running back. I think it was Latavius Murray at the time. Ran to the left side, sheds the block, picks him up from his back, and yanks him back. It was, it wasn't like WWE where he like sumo-plexed him, but he pulled him back and wasn't allowing him to gain extra yards. It was a 0-yard gain, and then he also got in on he basically forced a sack, and he made the exact same play that he was making at Penn State. Doesn't get the sack, but he caused the chaos, got the hit on the quarterback, and the other guys were able to gang tackle and finally bring him down. So I thought he played amazing. I didn't see any plays other than when he was in coverage. He was in coverage on Ty Montgomery about 20, 25 yards down the field on a big-time Jameis Winston 3rd down completion. That was, I believe there were a couple other times I think I saw him in coverage, but overall, I thought he played well. What did you think, Joshua, about Adafe?
Man, I told you that athleticism was going to show. I did see him actually push the hell out of the right tackle into the backfield, into the quarterback. So I definitely love that. Seeing him setting that edge, we haven't had that in a while. It's good to have someone that can get out the block and, just be a monster on that edge. So He definitely looked good. I like what he's saying. I like what I saw, but I like the next man up right behind him, Mr. Hayes.
Oh yeah.
That now, if y'all watched, one thing I did see out of Dalen Hayes that he used a lot of technician moves. It wasn't always like bull rush. He was definitely using his hands, and as an edge rusher, you definitely want to see those guys handwork, because if you don't got handwork, you can't be out here just trying to bull rush that man off you all game. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah, Dalen Hayes also got in. I don't think he was credited with the sack. He may have been. I'll check the stats right now. Let's see here. Dalen Hayes was not credited with the sack, which is unfortunate, but he got the sack. He hit the quarterback. Then two guys hit him right after he hit the quarterback and were able to take him down. But overall, let's see here. A lot of stuff, but I did like what I saw out of Dalen Hayes. He made a case. I mean, one thing that, we've been very positive. I was surprised to see how late into the game Jalen Ferguson was playing. And he wasn't, if you get a guy like Jalen Ferguson, who the Ravens expect to be playing very well, and he wasn't making major plays. I believe he had a couple of plays where it was like, oh, Sack Daddy got in on the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're playing against third string offensive tackles and your nickname is Sack Daddy and he was not making any crazy plays, I was a bit disappointed with Sack Daddy in his play, even though I didn't think he played terribly. But for the competition he was going, if this was a NFL game and Sack Daddy had the game he had, I'd be like, solid game. But he was playing against third strings. They didn't even start their first string tackles. But I don't know. Did you see anything out of Sack Daddy that you thought like, oh, this is the guy that we call Sack Daddy?
I would definitely say, as far as body shape, he does like he's more in shape. I give him that. Now, I mean, Sack Daddy is a mid-tier guy. He does belong, in situationals on a 53 man roster. The thing is, I look for those little things, and as far as handwork, swiping, stuff like that, I still see him doing a bull rush. Now, granted, when he's there, he's there. Being around the tackle, stuff like that, helping cause some type of disruption, in the run game. But as far as a pass rusher, I don't know. Jalen has got to keep working in order for him to, really continue seeing time for him to to be more in that rotation, because, at the end of the day, Justin Houston is not going to play the whole fourth quarter, all 4 quarters. Derek Wolf's not going to play all 4 quarters. Pernell McPhee, those guys are not going to play all 4 quarters. They're going to depend on him. They're going to depend on Adafe. They're going to depend on Dalen. They're going to depend on Tyus. Those guys had to keep on working and producing and make themselves better every day. So, Jalen, if you want to earn your keep, man, keep working on your hands, bro. You gotta get those offensive linemen off. You get those right tackles, those left tackles leaning forward, and you get at the QB. Ain't nobody gonna stop you. You're gonna be the next man up. Somebody's gonna want to give you a contract like we gave like Zadarius Smith, like Matt Judon. Just keep working at it.
Absolutely. I will say I was wrong about Geno Stone. We drafted him last year. I don't know why I got that off. Shout out to Gabe Garcia. But, quick question. Was Ben Cleveland in the game? No, Ben Cleveland was not in the game. Undisclosed injury was announced before the game. Bozeman went down. I believe I read it was either hamstring or calf. He went down in the first quarter. And obviously that sucks. And the offensive line just was terrible. One guy that I want to give a shout out to, Patrick Queen. First ever preseason game for Patrick Queen. That dude was, he said if anybody watched The Wired, you know what he said in their one-on-one interview? He said, what my goal is? See ball, get ball. That's his whole mentality. And what did he do? 2 consecutive major plays that he was able to make in the game. He had that tackle. That was a great tackle on the left side of the field where he just picked up the running back and threw him down. And I can't remember what the next play was. Did he get? Oh, he got a sack. He got a sack. He broke off the Hurst block and was able to take, I think it was Taysom Hill at that point, down as he rolled out to the right. And that Patrick Queen is a good player when the quarterback escapes the pocket. he's able to hit that thing like nobody else. And shout out to Patrick Queen he looked a lot better than he looked at the beginning of last year. I'll say that.
I'm gonna say this, and I know Ravens family, y'all may not like what I'm gonna say, but that young man, number 40, right next to him, is gonna make PQ better. Both of them show that they definitely been in the weight room. But I feel like Malik Harrison, I'm always say IQ wise, I feel like he's more sound at that linebacker position, and he hits like a hammer. With PQ, this first game, he didn't run around like a chicken with his head cut off. He didn't rely on his athleticism. His IQ did show more this game, but he still, he was more smart and more agile about his movement, and I love that too. But honestly, me personally, I really feel like the thumper is Malik Harrison. I feel like he deserves that number 1 spot, and but I love both of those guys, man. I like what they bring to the table, especially here in the Ravens organization. So keep working, young men. I'm glad we got 2 young middle linebackers that can bring what we've been missing in that middle. So keep on doing what y'all doing, man.
Yeah, and my favorite part about that was that they played together. When Patrick Quinn was on the field, they played together the entire time. It wasn't like last year where it's LJ Fort, where it's Chris Ford, kind of taking up Malik snaps alongside PQ. It was those 2 guys, and they're making plays. Malik Harrison forced the fumble. Patrick Queen got the sack and the big tackle. Like, those guys were playing well. I will talk about this. Chris Westry. Very interesting game. He had a massive pass breakup into an interception from Geno Stone, which was an amazing play. But then, man, Chris Westry, you cannot talk. Got that big-time taunting penalty, 15 yards, automatic first down, off of a 3rd down incompletion. You can't do that. That reminds me of Jordan Lasley. Scoring and punting the ball into the lake. He got cut the next day.
I feel like all that taunting stuff, man. I'm gonna say this: you can't tell a grown man in the height and emotion of the games what to do. If they feel like they got a pass breakup, or they got a good tackle, they ran the ball hard or whatever. That's what the game is about. So also, I feel like some of these penalties, man, is petty. And me personally, if I was in the game, it'd be hard for me. Like, if I know I'm running the ball, if I'm doing my thing, 20 yards per carry, something like that, and somebody thought he was going to tackle me, and I look him straight there in the face, talking my talk, man, it would be hard for me to keep my mouth quiet. So you definitely have to be smarter playing this game now. Unfortunately, it's not the NFL we all grew up watching, but this is what it is, and if you want to keep your job, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, the rules, I hate taunting. Taunting's like one of the worst penalties in all of sports. I mean, if I ever hit somebody, I'm walking over them like Juju walked over Vontaze Perfect. Like, every time. I mean, that's what I'm doing. Like, that's the type of thing that football is. I hate taunting. I think it's probably the stupidest thing in the NFL rule book. Like, excessive celebration and taunting makes no sense. Overall, new running back looked way better than Justice Hill. Tyson Williams, he's talking about, I got to say, yeah, Tyson was cool, okay? But there was this guy, came in, his first carry, just explosive run on a carry to the left side. Nate McCrary, okay?
Told you.
Nate McCrary was a beast. Now, Tyson also looked good. I believe it's pronounced Tyson. It's not Tyson. I'm pretty sure it's Tyson.
That boy's he gives me old school running back vibes. He runs hard with his legs. I ain't gonna lie, man. If we can keep 4 running backs, I definitely would, because Justice Hill has to go, in my opinion. He's a special teams guy. That's the only way he keeps his spot on this team. I didn't play with running backs that has like 4.2, 4.3 speed, and instead of going north and south, they go east and west, and the agility with him is not there no more. It's not there no more. We thought, the game will slow down with him, that he can start using, his God-given ability, start cutting up the field more, start hitting people with a move or two, just being a twitchy, small back guy. but he's a special teams guy.
Yeah. I thought he was bad. I did not think he
had
looked
lined
good.
up on a dude that was like 6'3", 6'2". I mean, he was all over him, but at the same time,
he was caught over 3 times. He was caught over. And that's what was happening last year. Like, even though he has good coverage a lot of the times, like, I like Anthony Averett, but it seems like even when he has good coverage, just people are always catching over him. And it's so frustrating because that's just what happens. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense because, you would expect, like, he just never seems to get his hand in there, never seems to get a hand on the ball. They just seem to catch it and come down, like the touchdown where it's like, the guy catches it and just kind of plops down, standing there, ball in his hand, and Anthony Averett's just kind of hugging his back in the end zone. It's just like, that's just, I hate to see that because I do like Anthony Averett. He's a very good special teams player. I think he's going to make the team, but it just gives me a lot of concern when you have him out there and he's just constantly getting mossed. And it's like, obviously it's not to the extent of like Randy Moss, but it's like they're just making, like, if anybody gets a difficult catch made over them, it's Anthony Averett every time.
Right.
And I will say, somebody that did not look good whatsoever in this game, Marcus Peters. He looked bad. Now, at the same time, it's preseason.
I was about to say, it looked like he was just more likely going through the motions, but, we did see some of MP3 the Juice Man movement with, biting and just letting the man go ahead. So I'm gonna give it to him. That was preseason, but we still saw some of his regular antics.
Yeah, I say, this is a good point by Void. It says chunk plays aside, our defense was great. There were a lot of chunk plays though. Besides the chunk plays, but it's not like there were like 2 major chunk plays. It was like there were a lot of, like, here, I'll go through it right now. So, Torrey Jones, longest rush, 28 yards. Jawan Johnson, longest reception, 38 yards. Marquez Callaway, longest reception, 28 yards. Aesop Winston Jr., longest reception, 35 yards. Tony Jones Jr., longest reception, 17 yards. Ty Montgomery, longest reception, 26 yards. That's a lot of chunk plays that are coming out. Like, yes, we were able to get a lot of stops. The running back for the Saints was playing very well. What was his name? Tony Jones. I felt like he played pretty well. I was impressed by him. But we also have seen what the Ravens defense is against the run without Calais Campbell and Brandon Williams. And it looked like that defense again tonight. We could not stop the run.
But you know what? Even though we could not stop the run, I will give it to Broderick. Because Broderick was throwing the ball. And I don't know who the Smith guy is. I saw him a lot. I saw him sustaining that interior line as well. But I definitely saw him around creating some interior pressure along with Broderick and even Justin Metabuke as well. So they definitely did solid work on the inside.
Chris Smith, I think he was the one that got the sack with Brandon Stevens, I believe.
Okay.
This is an interesting question. Jamison, Taysom Hill, who will win QB? Week 1, it's going to be Taysom from everything that the Saints have said. Regardless of preseason, it's going to be Taysom to start. I think Taysom Hill is the worst. Daniel Jones is really bad. I think Taysom Hill is the worst starting quarterback. No, he's the second worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Daniel Jones is so bad. But I think Jameis Winston at the end of the year will be QB1. I felt like the throws that he made were much more consistent. And I mean, that's all you can look at is what was most consistent. And like Taysom Hill's interception was bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whose fault it was. I don't know what the route the guy was exactly running. It looked like he kind of stopped. Taysom Hill threw it out. It might have been an option route by the wide receiver, and they weren't, doing very well. But I don't know who it was. But Taysom Hill is not an NFL quarterback at all. Like, that's why we said before the game, what did we say? It's going to be a lot of turnovers. Like, this is the turnover team. And we came out, we got 6 turnovers, just like we said. And we needed those 6 turnovers. Our offense looked terrible. It was really rough. Let's see.
Shout out to the 54 guys in the stream, man. Just for y'all just to tap back in after the game.
Yeah, overall, let's see here. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, we're talking about everything. Does Patrick Queen have a good shot at having a breakout season? Absolutely. I said, I think it was in the Rob Ryan video I made. I'm sorry, we're going to the next question.
Oh, man, come on now.
I just saw this go. We'll go back to the other one. Don't worry, Techmo. We're coming back. We got to talk about Josh Oliver. He was tight end one the entire game, I think, except for the fourth quarter.
How many targets did he have? Because they definitely was looking. They was definitely looking out.
I got it right here. 6 targets, led the team, tied with Devin Duvernay.
I can live with that. I like that.
And one of them was incomplete. I think it was on a third down. Tyler Huntley made a poor throw. It was catchable, but he turns out to his left, I believe. It was far right shoulder. He had to do a complete 360. Wasn't able to get his body completely turned against it. That's also something that has to do with chemistry. These guys not played together. Overall, Tyler Huntley, I think, looked pretty solid throwing the football, which I was not expecting. But Josh Oliver, I think, showed he's tight end 3. By the way, Ben Mason was out there for what? 5 plays, maybe? Oh, I say that and immediately, how's Ben Mason? 5 plays, maybe he was out there. And that's concerning to me. Now, he was out there on special teams. I'm talking about offensive plays. He was out there on special teams and he played well, but Josh Oliver was the tight end playing. Eric Tomlinson, I saw a little bit, lining up early in the game. I saw him lining up in the same sets with him, but I think based off of this game, the Ravens really like Josh Oliver. And based on the press conferences, every time you bring up the tight end group to Mark Andrews or the coaches, they're like, yeah, those guys are doing great. They always start with Josh Oliver. They're like, when they talk about the other guys, obviously they bring up Mark and Nick, but they're just like, yeah, guys like Josh Oliver. Then they say Eric Tomlinson. Then they say Eli Wolf and those guys. But it always starts with Josh Oliver. And I think the weapon is tight end 3 this year.
I can see it. I definitely can see it.
Now let's go back to this question. Every time I see Josh Oliver, who I've been hyping up since the day we traded for him, I think I brought it up in my Rob Ryan video where Patrick Queen could be 2 times as good as he was last year. And that's because of, his overall development, the implements in the new coaching staff, the players that have been put around him. I absolutely think that he will be significantly better. I don't want to say I don't think, but I'm not expecting a Pro Bowl season out of him. However, I think he's going to be in that kind of borderline Pro Bowl kind of, maybe he gets enough votes, but I think he's going to get to that type of tier this season with the Ravens and their defense. So I think absolutely he's going to have a breakout year. Absolutely. And I think PFF is going to put some respect on his name after this year. But what do you think, Joshua? What do you think in Patrick Queen this year? Breakout?
You know what? I'm going to say yeah. So I say it. I'm gonna keep on saying it. Number 40 gonna make that man better because he know number 40 is right behind him. And he's played a full season. Now he's got his preseason reps. They got the training camp. He's in his sophomore season, and now the game has slowed down for him. And once the game is slowed down, now you can be that agile and hostile player that you want to be. You saw it with the 2 back-to-back plays today, and I feel like he's going to continue to build off of that. He's been working. He got that single-digit swag as he puts it, and I feel like he's going to keep on showing out. So I definitely can see this being a breakout season. Was he one of the guys? Did he feel like he got snubbed for Defensive Player Rookie of the Year last year?
Absolutely not. He shouldn't have been in that conversation straight up. I know Ravens fans get mad at me. PFF was right in their grade of him. He looked like a player, like he was a chicken with his head cut off. Now, he made plays, but he blew a lot of assignments.
I was about to say it was a lot of blown plays that y'all actually watched the game and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of times he got laid out on his
He
back.
was like he was a roller coaster player. It was like, he had, 12 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble in this game. And then it's like, but the next game, the tight end that they went against had 13 receptions for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they just abused him. And so,
I think he felt like he should have been in the talks of defensive rookie player of the year. So I know he got that chip on his back. He's embraced the whole Ravens identity. As far as being a nasty, stout defense, and I definitely feel like knowing what has came before him at that middle linebacker position, he knows what he has to do to solidify that spot.
Yeah, and I will say I'm not like a Patrick Queen hater. I love Patrick Queen. I loved the Patrick Queen draft selection.
Yeah.
I just think he can get significantly better. And like I said earlier, I think he will. Like this year, he will be significantly better because not having preseason, not having training camp, not having a veteran linebacker that he's working with, like a skilled veteran linebacker. Like the linebacker he's working with is LJ Fort. I don't dislike LJ Fort, but he's not coming in like some of these other guys.
Yeah.
For example, Devin White. I always mix up White and Bush. Devin White comes in. He's playing with Levante David, in my opinion, the best linebacker in the NFL, middle linebacker. Like that helps. When you're playing with an elite player next to you, you're allowed to be reckless. But he was the entire front seven, backside of that front seven, and that is an extremely difficult ask. It was a difficult position, and I think this year he's actually up to the challenge. And I will say this to Robert Jackson, absolutely. He made that. Now, they didn't give him a lot of opportunities. They really didn't. However, he made that sideline diving catch. He wasn't in bounds. If that pass is 4 inches closer to being in bounds, he makes that catch. His toes were down. He was basically 100% horizontal laying out, completely snagged the ball right when it touched his hands, laying flat. He was just out of bounds because it was a poor throw by Tyler Huntley. Now Tyler Huntley was under pressure. He's rolling to the right, difficult throw. But that was a massive flash. That's when you see that and you're like, yeah, it was incomplete, but that's a heck of a catch. That's a catch he can make inbounds. He doesn't have to do that on the sideline. It was an incredible diving catch. It was probably the best play of the entire game was that catch. Didn't even count. Like, that's how good it was. It was an amazing catch. This is interesting. I would agree with this part in saying Pat Ricard won't be on the team next year. I don't think he will. I think Ben Mason will take over that spot. I don't think the Ravens can lose Nick Boyle. I think Nick Boyle is too valuable to this team.
I thought we gave Nick Boyle an extension.
But it may go through this year. I can't remember exactly when his contract is up.
Okay.
But would the Ravens let go of Nick Boyle in the future for Josh Oliver? I don't think so. I think he's too good of a blocker.
You had to really see something special out of this tight end room, like out of Josh Oliver, Eli Wood, Breland, Spohn. I forgot his name. Young man out of UVA. They really had to show something beautiful in order for
Nick Boyle, 2023.
Okay.
Just an FYI. That's his last year. So 2024 he's a free agent. So we'd have to trade him.
All right, I can live with that. So but the Patrick Ricard, it depends on his market value, honestly, and who and what team utilizes fullbacks.
I mean, I think people will look at the Ravens, and I think that they will take a chance because of how effective they are running the football with him.
You know what? The only team I see Meg doing it is the Eagles.
The Eagles could do it, yeah. Pairing him with Jalen Hurts, I think that could be an interesting. I mean, the Bears, another, they got Justin Fields now. Obviously.
Or even in Washington.
Well, it depends on who they end up getting at quarterback. I don't really think Heineke is the future in Washington.
No, but he'll win you at least 8 games. I give you 8.
He won't win them. The defense will win them 8 games, and he'll be there.
You know who Heineke reminds me of? He reminds me of Falco off the replacements. The player's quarterback. He reminds me of a Trent Dilfer type of guy. The player's quarterback.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the energy that he brought.
Yeah, Chase Young love him, man.
Duvernay looked good on that outside receiver spot. What you think? It was really tough. The Ravens I was really disappointed in the play calling in this game because
Yeah,
the Ravens understand that they can run the football. Like, they're testing out their wide receivers. Like, I'm sorry, I do not need to see how many carries did Justice Hill. Justice Hill should have gotten like 8 carries. How many did he get? Let's see here. Oh, he only got 5 carries. It seemed like they were giving Justice Hill the ball every
you should
play.
got a lesser than that, in my opinion. But whatever.
Like overall, it just seemed like they were pounding the rock so constantly, and it was like it wasn't working, and they were not giving the receivers a chance to run real routes. It was like, oh, it's 3rd and 3, and they ran basically hooks. I think they ran 3 hooks across the field. And then I can't remember who they threw it to on that play, but they threw it deep on that play after running 3 hooks on the field. And it was just like, let them run some routes. Let's try them on a post route. Like, try them on these different routes. They were not letting McSorley and Huntley really test out their arm, and that was unfortunate. I wanted to see that, but maybe they're saving for the regular season. But it was a poorly called game, in my opinion, especially for a preseason game where you can be wild. Like, this is when you test, hey, can this guy make a jump ball reception? Like, the goal of the game isn't to win. The goal of the game is to figure out who's the best players. So give your players opportunities. And they just weren't giving them any opportunities. And it really kind of sucked. I was really sad about that because he was just not – Greg Roman was just not giving it to him. Yeah, Benjamin agrees. I mean, it was just not enjoyable. And, the only time it was enjoyable was the fast pace, which is what it seemed like for the Ravens with Lamar a lot of times, where it's like, oh, the Ravens sucked the offense was terrible the entire game or the entire first half. 2 minutes left. Lamar goes, okay, 2-minute drill. Greg Roman, shut your mouth. I'm going to run this offense. They drive down 80 yards. They score a touchdown. We see it all the time. The offense picks up when they're in no huddle because they're making risks. They're not going, I've always said this about Greg Roman. I still like Greg Roman. I still believe in Greg Roman. I think this was maybe just a situation where he's like, I don't want to show off the new offense. But Greg Roman plays like his goal on every play is to get just 3 yards. Now, I understand you got to stay on schedule, but it seems like every play is designed to specifically get 3 yards. There are no plays where you look at it and you're like, that play is designed to get you 8 yards. Like, have the Ravens ever run, other than on like 3rd and 8, a play on like 1st down where they're like, let's try and get 8 yards on this play? They don't do that. They're either like, let's take a deep shot and just chuck it into, some weird coverage. Maybe they just throw a guy deep. Or they run the ball, or they do a Devin Duvernay, shuttle pass and jet sweep. They never try and go, well, let's get 8 yards. And then we're in a 2nd and 2. If the Ravens are ever in 2nd and 2, that's the perfect situation because that's when you have Hollywood. That's when you have, even Lamar just running. Like, that's when the offense is crazy dangerous. It's not when it's 2nd and 7. And then their next play is, let's get 3 yards. Then you're in 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4. And sometimes, the play may be designed to get 3 yards, but it gets 10. But the play was specifically made. Like, it seems like they're always only running plays to be on schedule. Got to take risks. It seemed like the Saints defense the entire game knew the Ravens were doing. Like, they were like, oh, this is going to be a run. And then they run the ball. And it's like, oh, wow, that was completely stuffed. They blitzed off of that exact side. They got stuffed in the backfield. It's just really weird the way that he runs that offense. And I was so positive about Greg Roman all offseason. And then I just watched that first half and I was like, oh no, I forgot.
Man, I can't say I was positive because who everybody talked about in the offseason? Hell, even the damn defensive, the defensive coaches was talking about these 2 men in the offseason. That's Keith and T. So it's crazy when your passing game coordinator, your wide receiver coach get more praise than your OC, man. Something in the water, man. And when you hear these offensive guys talk about those two, it's like a breath of fresh air. They all smiles, man. So I don't know.
Yeah. I see this. It says Browns game MVP season, a perfect example of our 2-minute offense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe. Oh, what was the score? Was it 6-0 Browns? With like 3.5 minutes left. The Ravens scored like 2 touchdowns in that time, and that's when they had probably my favorite Lamar Jackson play ever was the cover 0 blitz that they ran at the 12-yard line. Lamar Jackson notices the DB rushing him on the right side. He steps up, throws a perfect pass right where Mark Andrews can get it. Touchdown. They went into the game looking at like 14-6 or 14-3 or something like that against Cleveland. Completely changed the momentum of that game. It looked like they were going to lose again to Cleveland, which they had lost in week 4 that season. And that was a major, major play. That's my favorite play of all time for Lamar. But that entire drive, what did he do? Sideline. Hollywood Brown just catching it on a comeback, on a curl route. They're playing over the top for his speed, and it's just he's able to just work his way down the field. That is very true. Perfect example of our 2-minute offense. Absolutely, that's the one I always go to.
Shout out to our troll of the year, Cincy.
Cincy edits. We already know. Bengals, congrats, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in preseason.
Oh wow, man!
I think that's the biggest win they'll have all year. Let's see here. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, make sure to ask. We'll talk about them. I think this is a bit too extreme. McSorley was given a terrible situation.
Literally.
Like today's game, Trace didn't play very well.
But he was coming back though. Like
it was.
Come on now.
This was the type of game where like any quarterback would have struggled.
Trace been here for what 2-3 years. I feel like something like that, but the playbook should have been more open up. I don't know if it was because it's preseason, you're not trying to give all the plays, but hey, like we've been saying, we're trying to establish a passing game. We're trying to see if these wide receivers can catch the ball. We're trying to see if these guys can get separation, and also look at it too. Even though yes, he had a bad O-line, he still tried to stay in the pocket and make some type of throws. Now in the one that he just BS and threw for an interception, I definitely don't agree with that. But I mean, dude,
that was one of the worst throws I've ever seen.
Yeah,
I tweeted out right before that happened. I was like, "Let's throw it deep," and then he threw a team, and I was like, "Oh my god, Trace McSorley can't throw deep. Do not ever do that again."
It was like a Madden glitch the way his arm went.
Yeah, it was so bad. Duvernay's running on the sideline, and he threw it to like the hash marks. It was not good.
Like he even overthrew Jalen Moore because Jalen Moore could have had a touchdown.
And Benjamin Dad says he's not as good as Huntley. I agree. Huntley, I think, is better. But Trace McSorley, the fact that he was only sacked one time shows a lot. But I think the Ravens, the way they ran, they had that 3rd and short, and they ran like a QB power or some quarterback designed run.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? That's not – I don't know why the Ravens try and treat Trace. Do not ever try and say that fast. But they try and treat – oh, my gosh. I don't know why I tried to say it again. They treat him like he's Lamar Jackson. Like he's not Lamar, but they treat him like he's Cam Newton. Where they're like, oh, he's just this bigger-bodied mobile quarterback, and he can just run through people. And they always – they did it in the Steelers game. They did it in the Browns game where they're like, oh, yeah.
Trace
on this read option. He is not that guy. Now, he's mobile. He's a guy where if the pocket breaks down, he can roll out, make a play. He made a play towards the end of the half. I can see how long it was. I know it was his longest rush. 22 yards. And he rolled out of the pocket, booked it up the sideline, 22 yards. That's the type of running that he can do. Do not give him a designed quarterback power to the right tackle. He will not succeed on that. Like we said in the pregame, we talked about pregame, and we were like, this is how he runs. He tucks his head, and he just kind of hopes he doesn't fumble. He's not looking up like Lamar trying to make moves. like hit one guy and fall forward is his goal. Like he's not a runner. He's a mobile, but he's not a runner. Yes, Robert Jackson, Ben Cleveland did not play, and I do think Trace has a future in the NFL as a backup. I think he's a decent backup. He was given. The play calling was bad. The offensive line was horrendous, and like they just never gave him an opportunity to throw. Like every time that they threw, it was like, oh, here's a terrible situation, and here's also the wide receivers that he had.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. Like I'm not against Jalen Moore, but I don't know why he was out there instead of Duvernay and Prochet at the start of the game.
For some reason, I don't know why Jalen Moore was a little bit more effective. I don't know if he got a little bit more open. I don't know, but or maybe it was the design plays, but he seemed a tad bit more. I mean, when they finally started using Dev as a wide receiver, he started showing his hands. James, excuse me, I've been saying JP3, JP2. He wasn't getting the separation that he needed from corners. It was like he was always getting tied up or always in the battle with the defender. But I don't know, man. I mean, I guess we'll see more these next two games. I hope so.
Yeah, if they don't open up the offense, it's going to be really rough. I'm thinking at least 12 first-round picks. I gotta give it to him. That dude was good. Like I was surprised. Like I don't know how the Ravens just bring in kickers and they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be a great kicker. And then other teams like spend 12 years trying to get a great kicker, and the Ravens are like, oh, preseason kicker, you're not gonna miss. Kare Vedvik, come in. What's his name? Vedify. I know it's like Latin for verify, so I know it's something
like that.
Ved is truth in Latin, or it's like the root for truth. Let me look this. What the heck? Oh, I gotta go to Gamecast. Let's see here. Verity. Yeah. I mean, he was really good. Like I think the Ravens could legitimately trade him. I think it could be for like a 7th round pick. Honestly, I don't know why. I think because Kare Vedvik was on the Ravens practice squad, I think for 2 years. I don't think it was just one preseason that he played. I think it was 2 preseasons. Maybe it was even more. But it was like, oh, this guy's not missed. But instead, it's like he has missed. And I see this is a great question for Benjamin. He says, where would he be a viable backup quarterback? Perfect spot, Eagles. I think Eagles is the perfect spot. He's in Philly. Philly loves him. Jalen Hurts is a similar type of quarterback. Jalen Hurts is more mobile, but Jalen Hurts doesn't like to run. Jalen Hurts wants to throw, and he will then scramble and run. I think that is similar to McSorley. He doesn't have that athleticism or anything like that. I want to say their current backup is Josh McCown, I want to say. I haven't watched.
Joe Flacco.
I didn't. Oh, that's right. Bye, Joe.
I heard he had a pretty good game.
That's right. I forgot Joe went there. Yeah, he threw a 79-yard touchdown on a screen pass. People hype it up like he threw it deep, like he was throwing it at Jacoby or Torrey Smith. Like he threw a screen pass that went for a touchdown. But yeah, I think Philly would be a good spot for him, like next year or something like that. I think he's similar enough to what they want to do with Jalen Hurts that Trace McSorley could be decent there. And then Philly loves him. I mean, he is Penn State's guy. Yeah. So that would be my spot. And he'd be pairing up with Miles Sanders, his old running back. So that would be my spot. But that's off the top of my head. I haven't analyzed every backup spot in the – I'm sorry, everybody. I haven't done it. I'm yet to go through the backup quarterback ranking list that I'm definitely working on.
Sorry, the fact that they really did have a ranking list, that should be –
I do not have a ranking list. I do not make a ranking list.
If you do a ranking for backups, like, yo, you have no life. Like
tomorrow's video, everybody, we're ranking top 8 Baltimore Ravens backup quarterbacks in history.
Yeesh.
Going through them.
Anthony White.
Lamar's going to be on the list. Lamar's probably number one. Dude came in, brought us to the playoffs. He was on some Nick Foles level stuff.
This is factual.
Man, I don't get it. I don't get the hate on McSorley. McSorley came in as a back. When he's come in as a backup, he's done his job. It's not like in NFL games when he comes in, he's been terrible. He came in against Cleveland, balled out. I mean, yes, we give the praise to Lamar, but he kept us in there. Now, he wasn't amazing, but he did his job. He came in against the Steelers, probably the best defense in the NFL, especially at that time. That was before the Bud Dupree injury, I'm pretty sure. I think it was after the Devin Bush injury. But, I can't exactly remember. Sorry, everybody. Sorry about Pittsburgh Steelers injuries on linebackers. But he came in. They were in that game. If they get that stop at the end of the game, he has a game-tying drive opportunity. And they didn't get that stop. But he came in after RG3 got hurt. And he was able to do his job. Like he's been good as when he's played in the NFL. Like preseason, like that. Preseason with
preseason games, but
with like the third string offensive lineman, like that's who was playing. I mean, I'm blanking on that. Bradley Bozeman gets injured.
Right.
Macari is playing right guard. So our center is Caston Castillo, the third string center. We didn't have our left tackle. We didn't have our right guard. Like he was playing with like terrible offensive line play with wide receivers that struggled, and obviously he didn't play well. Like I said, I'm not like somebody that's like massively like Trace McSorley is the best quarterback ever. Like he's not amazing, but I think he can still pull out a job. He is better
enough to get a W.
If Nathan Peterman can be a consistent backup in the NFL, Trace McSorley can. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Every time I hear that, I have to dab on the downbeat. I've done that ever since that audio came out. The viewers is going to drop to like 3 viewers right after that. But here's a great question. Are we giving up on sack daddy Jalen Ferguson yet?
No. Until somebody out there shows that they're better than him. No, we're not.
Dalen Hayes looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Dalen Hayes, in my opinion, since day one has moved up the depth chart for me in front of Jalen. I mean, he's someone that, like I said, I look for handwork. At the end of the day, in the trenches, if you don't have no type of handwork, no moves technique, you're gonna be SOL in this league. And like I said again, Jalen Ferguson, he did not show any type of real handwork. All he does is the bull rush, and in order for him to solidify the edge and really be a sack daddy, he has to show handwork. He has to really be able to beat the hell out that left and right tackle. So I feel like he's still going to be on the team, but Dalen Hayes is moving up.
Yeah, I mean, sack daddy. You know what? I'm officially changing the nickname. He's no longer sack daddy.
He's Jalen at this point.
I think it's got to include like maybe he's like. There's got to be some sort of like pun to nickname that we can do that's something related to like mediocre or something like that.
When we think about it, we're gonna get some shirts made. Everybody gotta,
Yeah, don't worry. Guys, we're going to work on making some big, sexy shirts. We're probably going to work on making some weapon shirts as well to hype up the great nicknames that we give to players that nobody else calls them, but it's okay. We have fun with it. But I'll think of a nickname for Jalen. Oh, no, we got it. Tom, the audio designer. Slack Daddy. That's the one. Slack Daddy. That's a great one.
Yo, shout out to the 77 in the stream, and also shout out to Tom, the audio designer, for Slack Daddy. I love it.
Slack Daddy. Here's an interesting one. This one's from Jeremiah CV. Duvernay is our number 3 wide receiver. He's fast and reliable. He is incredibly fast.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know if we can go with Slack Daddy. There's some good ones in the chat. We'll go through them, but. Duvernay, okay, is this – I'm assuming this if Rashad Bateman is counted in this, I think it's. I'm sorry, I keep seeing these Sack Daddy nicknames. The puns are too good. I love puns. If Bateman is counted out of this, I could see it. I definitely think it's probably the case. Now, Tylan Wallace also has a case. Yet to get a good ball thrown to him.
The more targets and the more available Tylan Wallace and James Prochet makes their styles, I can see both of them beating out Miles Boykins and Devin Duvernay. And it's nothing against Dev. I'm just where I'm at as far as the offense. We're looking for wide receivers that can catch the ball, stretch the field, maybe be able to get good yards at a catch and get touchdowns, get contested passes, and fight for that ball. That's the things I'm looking for right now out of our wide receivers. I'm not saying Devin can't do that, but Tylan Wallace, he reminds us of Steve Smith. Let's be real about it. You got JP2, he has good hands. He's not that good at the yards at the catch, but McConnell did give him the comp of OBJ in a sense. So we're looking for those. We're looking for those wide receivers that are ready to catch the ball. That's all.
Yeah, and I will say, I guarantee after next week's preseason game, we're gonna be looking at this. You know what we're gonna be saying? Tyler Huntley sucks. Trace McSorley is so good. Like preseason is the season for overreactions. Yeah, there may be Jalen Ferguson, aka I'm gonna go through these real quick. QB pressure daddy. Magnet man, because he sticks to blocks.
Oh, Benjamin.
Invisible man.
Oh.
Whack daddy.
That's
cool. I think that's it. So Magnet Man is too cold.
Luis got Lacking Daddy.
Lacking Daddy. Who said Lacking Daddy?
Luis.
Oh wait. That's too funny, Luis.
That's really funny.
That Lacking Daddy.
In the chat right now, 81. Yo,
shout out to everybody. Did not expect this at what is it in Baltimore? 11:20 at night after the game.
Oh yeah, we out, man. Come on now, it's still summertime. Come on now.
No, we having a good time. What's going on, Drew? Welcome into the stream. Tyson Williams, pretty good. It's tough when there's two Williams out there. Tremon and Tyson, very difficult to tell the difference. I just see Williams and I'm like, okay. But I gotta say, Nate McCrary got half the carries, 75% of the yards. Just saying. Both.
And me personally, he ain't no Jared Patterson. Shout out to my boy out of Washington. He was doing his thing. I didn't know he was a Maryland native neither.
Oh, no way. He is?
Jared Patterson? Yeah.
Oh, nice. Look at this. Starring our Darius Washington. He was balling. I mean, that's what we've all thought.
You know what, YPC draw? No, we're not gonna go with that because Daddy Chill sound like something else, my brother. So we're gonna keep it moving.
Almost Sack Daddy. That's a funny one. This says Shaun Wade did not get 2 picks. Geno Stone had 2 picks. Shaun Wade did have the 1 pick though. Running back 3. Now this is something to talk about. Because Justice Hill is going to make the roster. He's a special teams. He's a great special teams player. But I think there is a chance that he won't be running back 3 on the running back side. He does not look like he's a running – like he's supposed to be the pass-catching running back. He dropped an easy check-down pass tonight. And he gets the ball, and he still plays exactly how he played when he got drafted. He's too fast for his own feet.
Yeah,
and I gotta stop this right now. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I think it's Bafour, or maybe it's Baff4. I don't really know. He can't go. He's too important to special teams. He's a master of special teams. Yeah. He's a great gunner, but he should not be on the offensive side of the ball.
After this game, he should definitely be done taking offensive reps. I feel like it should be between McCrary and Williams, honestly, in my opinion. because
I'm excited to see what next week's games, what happens, and who's getting. I think he'll probably start out getting the majority of the carries, but I wonder if it's like maybe just the first quarter, and maybe we start to see maybe a committee with both the Williams and Nate McCrary, because those guys, they run hard. You know what Nate McCrary reminded me of?
Who?
Gus Edwards. Undrafted. He may not make the team, but I don't think if he gets cut, he's going to get picked up. He could be on the practice squad, but all of a sudden some guy gets hurt. Ravens need some depth. He could come in and he could ball out.
He's a guy I definitely want to keep around, man. I feel like he's a big gem. I know somebody asked about Adam Levine. He did get back in the next series after he got hurt. I know that.
Y'all are too funny. A tweet says Jalen is Ant-Man as his production and ability shrinks when he tries to sack someone.
You know what? You know what, Adi? Nah, man, you gotta stop that. Y'all, all right, y'all. Right now, we asked for names. We ain't asked for all this criticism like this.
No. I love it. I am all in. I love the names. I love the names. We are all in on nicknaming people.
We gotta pull them in at this point. We gotta pull them in.
We gotta get Jalen on the pod. So we got some nicknames for you. What about Ant-Man? Because your production and ability, it shrinks when you try and sack someone.
Because of y'all and McConnell, he's gonna block us, man. He's gonna report TCB. I don't even know what we're gonna do. I don't even know.
No, it's getting better. Mark says 8 Jack Daddy.
See, look. They're gonna find our pictures. They're gonna say, listen, these two guys, and the rest of y'all can't come to Ravens games. I mean, we're gonna have to be out here boycotting so we can fight for our lives at this point. So come on, y'all, bring it in, man. Bring it in.
We're gonna be on the band from M&T Bank Stadium. If we go to games, they're like, you got to be in the other team's colors. You just
come on, man.
That's too funny. Ain't Jack Daddy?
Yeah, ridiculous, man.
Oh man! Stomp that like button, everybody. Comes from Jeremiah. Shout out to Jeremiah. Absolutely. Let's see how many we can get. Oh no! Redacted Daddy.
I'm not entertaining this no more.
I'm completely entertaining it. I am completely in on the Slack on the. I'm sorry if you're gonna come into the NFL with a nickname like Sack Daddy,
you gotta live up.
And you can't get no sacks. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. That's too funny. This is very true. He does struggle at running back. Like, it does seem like that. He can't, and it's not like he's evading guys. We saw Tyson.
He doesn't run hard at all.
He doesn't run hard. He doesn't have contact, and he doesn't evade people. It's one thing to be like for example, Tariq Cohen is a guy where he gets the ball in space. Not as much anymore, but when Tariq Cohen kind of took over the league for like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it was, he gets touched, he falls over. But he would juke, he'd spin, he'd have great vision, he'd get around people, and he'd score.
Yeah.
We don't see that with Justice. We don't see that. He doesn't. We saw with all the other running backs that came in, both the Williams, Nate McCrary, they get the ball, they're shifting, they're hitting the holes, they're changing their speed, they're getting that burst, and that's how they were able to succeed. We don't see that from Justice, and that's what he's supposed to do, is be that shifty guy, and he's just not shifty, and that's the thing. Louis says he misspelled sack.
Man, listen. I think some of our worst running backs in Ravens history, in my opinion, would be Justice Hill. And, I know he's a hometown guy. I loved him. I wish he definitely would have made a better name for himself. It's Terrence West. He literally came out the class before me. Went to Towson, made a name for himself, and honestly, it didn't translate to the NFL. He was too big of a guy to be trying to, juke and stuff like that. Man, plant your foot down, run north and south, and fall forward. Unfortunately, Justice Hill, like I say, he's a fast guy, but honestly, not too many fast guys know how to run north and south. This man keeps on running east and west, and he's not running hard with conviction. So, it's over for him.
Yeah, it's always sad when you draft guys and you have so much hype, so much expectations for players.
Yeah.
The amount of Ravens running backs that we've drafted, and I'm like, yes, let's go. Now, none I've been more excited about than JK. He was the guy that I wanted in the draft, my number one running back in the draft. But man, when we got Javoris Allen out of USC, Buck Allen, when we drafted Kenneth Dixon, oh my goodness, I was like, oh, we got it.
I ain't gonna lie, I went crazy when we got BP, Bernard Pierce. Man, I used to watch them Temple games. You talking about a man getting 253 touchdowns in the first half, and the second half he's not playing no more. Even LeBron
Here's a legitimate question. We'll talk about this one. But how did you think about the wide receivers today? It's difficult to judge.
You know what? I'm not going to judge. Not after this game. I feel like I need a real game of actual passing concept dialed up. And I need to see guys being targeted more and not just one guy. So I'm not going to give a real grade or give a real opinion right now because I feel like I need to see more. Only person I will say this: Dev actually showed that he can be a wide receiver and not a gadget guy. I hope he continues to stack those reps up. Jalen Moore, obviously he's trying to earn a spot, but when he's in the game today, he did show you that he can catch the ball. I like what he could do. James Prochet, keep working. You got to continue to get that separation from your defender, and in order to make those plays, because you got to beat out the flex tight end. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult. This was
especially this game,
horribly called game by Greg Roman. Now, at the same time, it could just be Ravens don't want to show off what the new offense is, which is the case. You don't run complex systems when you are playing in preseason. It's just not necessary, especially with backups. But I saw a play that makes me fear for the entire season today. We're at about the 15. We were at the 17-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Trace McSorley at this time. He steps back, drops back. He throws it deep into the edge. I'm like, oh, jump ball. I look up. What do I see? James Prochet. And why am I blanking on his name? I forget his name every single time. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. I see Jalen Moore because I see Moore. I think Chris Moore.
Yeah.
I see Jalen Moore and James Prochet both running a streak at the 17-yard line to the back corner of the end zone. And Jalen Moore goes up for it and tries to catch it, isn't able to make the catch. But I'm like, what is that play? What is that? That was the whole problem, was every time it seemed like, oh, Hollywood got the guy on a stop and go. Oh, Mark Andrews is running a streak right next to him, and so that he's covered simultaneously. Like, it just adds more defenders. Like, it takes away the space. Like, it's not even lack of creativity. You could be non-creative and still come out with a good play. It's just stupid. I don't understand. And it's the same thing when Hollywood Brown in the Ravens' first playoff game against the Titans with Lamar. Hollywood Brown had that like 42-yard reception at the end of half, and it was like there were three guys running with him, all on the Ravens. And Lamar made a dot. He caught it stride for stride, hit him in the arms, boom. But like, why? Don't cluster everybody in one spot, especially when you're at the 17-yard line. Like, it made no sense. That was just very unfortunate for me. When I saw that play, I was like, oh no.
Hold on. We got to address Robert. We got to address Robert.
Oh, wait, which one is it? Now, this one.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Go for it.
If Hollywood Yak doesn't improve this year, I'm gonna be tight for real. He gotta take the next step. Okay.
You were ready for this one. I have never seen you more excited to answer a question.
It's for the simple fact that me and my boy talk about this all the time. Yo, please understand. If we utilize Marquise Brown in the way that he's supposed to be, meaning he is actually supposed to be that slot receiver. Now, granted, he can be that number one outside receiver, but with Rashad Bateman and Sammy Watkins, he needs to be utilized into the middle. I mean, how his cousin, he was all over the dang on place, and he was a mismatch. He was a mismatch nightmare when it came to some defenders, and we had to utilize him enough in order for him to be exactly that. I feel like Marquise can be a 1,000-yard receiver. I definitely feel like he could be a 10-touchdown man, but we have to utilize that soldier correctly, and that soldier also has to be consistent and not give up on the plays too. So I definitely feel like he can take it to the next step. With the wide receiver core that we now have, I definitely see his numbers increasing. So y'all just get off Hollywood's back, man. It's a lot of factors that plays in it.
And he's smart. He's not going out there because he understands that he is smaller than almost everybody else on the football field.
I'm pretty sure that y'all remember this man did have Lynch Frack. He had the Lynch Frack health problem, right? So of course he can't really gain no weight. I mean, last year he did put on some size now, but still, that boy 180, 5'10". Come on now.
Yeah, he's smart. He gets the ball, and when he sees there's a defender, I'm not gonna be able to juke past him. I'm gonna go down. That's a smart play. That's intelligent football because he does get injured a fair amount. It's like quarterbacks, it's getting mad at Lamar for sliding. Slide. When you're that small, slide. I don't want you getting hit. And before, you are correct. It was Talon Wild, so I was mixing it up with the other lob that they threw to the end zone that had the flag. But that is correct. But there were two guys there, and it was absolutely terrible. Why don't we just move G-Row to run game coordinator and get somebody that knows how to scheme routes?
Honestly,
Benjamin, I don't know. I don't think he'd take it. He's been an offensive coordinator in the NFL for years. I think he's looking at it like I can be a head coach. You look at what the Ravens offense has done. There's a lot of people in the NFL that look at Greg Roman and say, look at how good he's doing.
Yeah,
this has been the number one running
coach maybe at a D3 school. I'm sorry, man. He is quarterback's kryptonite as far as growth.
Oh, absolutely. I see here. Here's a good question. How do the Ravens plan on using Tylan Wallace this year?
When we find out, we'll let you know.
Based on what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like he's going to be a big-time piece of this offense. Now, I hope he gets used, but I think he's going to be used the same amount James Prochet was last year. Now, if he balls out in that, now James Prochet didn't play very well when he was given those small opportunities. Now, but if he makes like a big play or something like that, he could be used more. But I don't expect him to be getting a ton of opportunities at the beginning of the year unless there are injuries. If there are injuries, I think then he'll become a true outside wide receiver for the Ravens. But I'm gonna shut this down. No.
Come on now. Come on, Eric. No.
We had nobody. We had nobody playing. It was all backups pretty much. Maybe worry about if the entire offensive line gets COVID and they can't play. I'd be worried. I'd be pretty worried for the next game. But
not at the same time. Damn. You know how many games we got to forfeit? That's at least almost 2.
They all go to lunch at just like the COVID stop, and they just can't.
Just like all the quarterbacks in Minnesota.
Yeah, in Denver, and they're just like, oh man, we're starting a wide receiver this week. Maybe Miles Boykin would be a solid left guard. We gotta throw him out there.
Hey.
Oh man, there's a lot of people are against Greg Roman.
Honestly, do you feel like if we right now these are the type of days I wish we actually had Gary Kuby at? I know he like the big arm quarterbacks, but I feel like with how the way he can scheme plays up, he can make so many special things happen for Lamar just off the strength of his dynamic, him being a playmaker.
Yeah, he's. Oh, sorry. I saw an Adam Schefter tweet, and it was like, look at that. Ravens, longest preseason win streak in the last 25 years. But yeah, I think Greg Roman's interesting. Now, one thing that I saw, I got to scroll up a little bit. This is a great statement. I guess y'all be commenting a lot. Shout out to you guys. But slant routes get easy yak. Like, yeah, they get easy yak. Why are slant routes not utilized by the Ravens? I swear we never run slant routes. Like, why is that not a part of the offense? Like, the only routes that we ever see are, like, maybe we'll see an in route. But, like, we never see a slant.
Greg doesn't know how to read a coverage, yeah.
Like, I don't know why that's not a utilized part of the game. What was Hollywood Brown's first ever reception? If y'all remember, it was an RPO slant route that he took 58 yards or whatever it was to the crib. What? Where is that? Oh, wait, we had a different. Oh, wait, no, we didn't have an offensive coordinator. That was Greg Roman's first game with the Ravens. Like, I don't know why that's not a. I feel like that would be a staple part of the offense. You get a slant going. If Lamar rolls out, that guy's sprinting up the field with Lamar. Then they can slant it a little bit up, or they can slant it a little bit back, make a play. We got speed. It's difficult. Like, it is a difficult thing because a slant route, you don't lose all your momentum. A lot of times when you're running an in route, you lose your momentum when you start that in, and people are able to catch up if they are baiting it. But if you're Hollywood Brown, you run a slant route, very few cornerbacks are going to be able to keep up with that slant route. Towards the end, they're going to get caught because it's a slow transition. Now, yes, you cut, but it's not a stop turn.
No, it's that when you get a slant route, you catch the ball in motion, you pretty much going to hit a move, and you're going to kick into your next give type situation. It ain't no slow down. And, Marquise, I feel like he hasn't even hit his full gears yet. That's the crazy part.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been dealing with foot injury, screw in the foot, been dealing with everything. That's the biggest question mark. Where are the slants?
Tom, the audio designer, is questioning Keith.
I think we gotta fire him. I think they're terrible. Fire T, fire Keith. No, I think that the Ravens, I think that they should be. I think that they'll implement slants into this offense more. I just think that Greg Roman was like, let's run the most basic offense ever, and it's going to be terrible. Like, I was watching this game, and I literally thought, I was like, if we lose this game, forcing 5 turnovers, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, how does that happen? It's like, now I lose games forcing 5 turnovers in Madden all the time playing squads because my quarterback in squads is horrible. Like, legitimately terrible. I get like 3 pick sixes. We still lose. But that's a Madden thing. That shouldn't be an NFL thing. If you ever force 5 turnovers in a game, you better win. And the Ravens almost didn't win. Now, luckily, some guy came in. His name was Nate McCrary. Sparked the offense. But it was interesting.
Hey, man. Egg notes.
Shout out to Broderick. I mean, I was surprised he played, but, it's good to see. And, we're talking about slants. Slants are, one of the easiest for quarterbacks to see. Yeah, get the guy running across your face. Very short. And it's very difficult to cover. Wow. Why is that not utilized? That is one of the biggest things. And also the no huddle doesn't get used. Now, this is a question. Do you guys think Greg won't use the design plays from T and Williams? Now, I don't think T's designing much plays. I think Keith, I think he will use, I don't know if they're like designing plays. I think they're more just looking at his plays and helping him along.
They're trying to enhance it, I guess.
Yeah.
Understand it. And see, that goes back to, the question we asked the chat. Who do we think has the easier job, OC or defensive coordinator in the NFL? Because we don't know what really goes on in that room and, how the chain of command really flows down. Because at the end of the day, you got positional coaches, but it's is the OC listening to those positional coaches as far as development, progression, or maybe implementing this play style. So those are things you have to think about.
Yeah, I see a good question from Robert. He says, y'all see us making any additions anytime soon via trade or whatever? I do. I think the Ravens will get somebody. I think it'll be like a late cut, that somebody else cut, and the Ravens look at it. Maybe it's a bigger bodied wide receiver, and they could look at it and say, yeah, I'll take that guy. The Ravens are obviously missing Rashad Bateman. It could be a guy that they cut after Rashad Bateman, comes back. But I feel like they may go after a wide receiver or somebody for a depth piece somewhere. But that's my opinion. Do you think we'll add anybody, Joshua?
I definitely feel like as far as depth, I could see us going for somebody maybe offensive lineman wise, or even corner, or just even maybe even tight end if they're not happy with the guys in the room, too, just to have some more solidified pieces to add on. And we got to think about it. Ravens way, best man available, and we love getting guys after people get cut. So sometimes it may not work in their facility, but we always get a good decent amount of production from those guys when they come into our facility.
Absolutely, and overall, Greg Roman is so interesting. It does seem like he's very stubborn. He's not. He's around the same stuff he ran with Colin Kaepernick, and that's what got him kicked out of San Francisco. Then he went there to Buffalo, and, Buffalo was not known for an offense. Like, yeah, they led the league in rushing. Nobody was talking about that offense. We've been talking about the Buffalo defense. If you think about Buffalo pre-Josh Allen for the last 5 years, it's been defense. Like, yeah, they made the playoffs, but it was defense, and that's the thing that we have to look at. I see a lot of people talking about, like, we should implement the no huddle more. Yes, I agree. Tom, the audio designer, says that there were a lot of people saying it, but we can't do it every time. Overall, like, it's just a situational thing. It should be the Ravens get a big play. Lamar says, let's go. I think that would be really interesting if they were allowed to just do no huddle, not for a drive, but it's like they do 3 plays back to back. Yeah. Maybe Lamar hits Hollywood 15 yards over the middle on second down. Lamar goes, let's go. And he comes out and they go no huddle for 3 play. They do no huddle. If the play works, they go no huddle. If the play works, they go no huddle. If the play doesn't work, then they get back to the huddle. And they just ride that momentum for how long it can go. I think that would be something that the Ravens should implement. But I think Greg Roman likes control, and he has a lot of control when the Ravens go to the huddle. And Lamar doesn't make audibles. He's just not at that stage of his career yet. He's super young. I think we'll get there at some point. But Lamar in interviews has talked about how, hey, coach, these guys are calling out our plays. And he says, like, he said in that interview, he was like, I just tell coach, hey, this isn't working. He doesn't make those changes. And that's just something that he needs to work on and develop. And I don't think it gets brought up very much by Ravens fans, but I think Lamar should be given more of an opportunity to take charge in the game and say, this is what we're doing. Get a little Aaron Rodgers in him. Not to that extent where Aaron Rodgers says, screw you, Mike McCarthy, screw you, Matt LaFleur. I'm running my entire own offense for this quarter, even though it works because he's Aaron Rodgers.
I wouldn't mind it, honestly, at this point. I mean, it is contract season for him. He wants to win a championship. Let me see what Lamar can actually do, in a scheme where, he's free to actually play the game the way he wants to play the game. Because I definitely feel like, there's friction. There's some type of tension where, it's like it's a tug of war between him and Giro, So I mean, something's got to give.
Yeah, I think this change of pace could be necessary. I mean, yes, the Ravens, their goal is ground and pound, wear out the clock, do all that stuff. But at the same time, if you mix it up, that gets the defense on their heels. They know what to expect. Yes, it's the old mantra, They know what's coming, but they still can't stop it. But at the same time, it's easier when they're on their heels. Like, yes, when they know it's coming and they still can't stop it, that's good. But it's better when they don't know what's coming, and it's more effective because they don't know. Yeah. Like, that's what they need to focus on. And when they're backing up, they're on their heels, that's when you can make those big plays. That's when you can start getting the defense to get tired. You don't know what the Ravens don't get? Pass interference penalties. Bottom of the league. Why? One, they don't throw the ball a ton, but two, like the corners are like they're not tired. When you go against the Ravens, you're not tired as a cornerback. You start going up tempo, start to get tired. That's when you start grabbing. That's when you start holding them because you can't keep up anymore.
Yeah.
Change the pace. Let's see how that works. Tom says, "Let him be a field general." Yeah,
absolutely. I look at the OC as the captain. The quarterback is the general of those guys. They got to see through what the captain gives you.
Absolutely. And this is why play action isn't working, is because the play action is called in terrible situations. And the play actions that are called are not the type of, for example, I was really frustrated.
Last plays. Let's be real.
1st and 10 in the red zone. I think it was about like the 15-yard line. This was Tyler Huntley was in. This was when he fumbled. I believe they were in strong with a fullback, 2 tight ends, and a wide receiver on the field. And they called a bootleg, or they called a play action with everything going to the left. So it's kind of a natural bootleg. McSorley rolls out to the left, and it's like, oh, it's a drag. And maybe it was a slant, maybe it was an in route. And it's like, it's one of those plays where it's like, it's not a shot. Like, what happened when the Ravens ran play action with Joe Flacco and Ray Rice?
Come on now.
Play action, step back. Oh, look at that. Torrey Smith, 10 yards of separation, 40 yards down the field. Let me hit that real quick. With Lamar, it's, play action. He's rolling out. 3-yard check down because we don't call actual deep threats on play action. Like, they don't utilize play action to the extent play action should be utilized. Now those plays work on 2nd and 1. Boom. That's when you can call those plays where it's like, we only need a couple. 3rd and 1. Boom. Call that play. The Ravens have had success doing that in 3rd and short. But somebody commented, yeah, we play action on like 3rd and 7. That's also true. We call a lot of play actions in 3rd and long where it's like, that's not going to be effective. Because they call the play action because Greg Roman doesn't have enough plays with good route concepts. Like, that's the issue. So they're like, this play action, it's like Madden. Like I do that in Madden. I'm like, I like this route concept, even though it's play action. It doesn't matter. But it's not, the play action isn't used to be a fake.
Right.
It's used because we don't have a lot of plays that are passing plays. So I guess we're stuck with this play action. Like we use the pistol too much in 3rd and long. Like, we should not have a fullback on the field in 3rd and long. I don't know why that's kind of a staple of the offense. Like, we were in there was a play on 1st and 10. We were in I form with 1 wide receiver, 2 tight ends on the outside, I form, 1 wide receiver out on the left. I'm like, it's 1st and 10. What are you doing? Now, I have been saying I am a Stanford football fan, okay? This is what Stanford does. And now the Ravens are doing it, and it makes me extra mad because I hate it. It's like the biggest thing that I hate about Stanford is they'll come out in ogre. They'll come out with, I believe it's 4 tight ends out on the field. But typically they shift in an offensive lineman at tight end. And it's like, why are you doing this on 1st and 10? Do that on 3rd and 1 when it's like, they're going to run the ball. But when you come out in it in 1st and 10 and you call a play action, it doesn't make any sense. And Patrick says, are y'all idiots really criticizing play calling in a preseason game? We're criticizing it when it's the same stuff that's been happening for the last 2 seasons. Yeah. I'm going to criticize it. It's not like this is like, it's his first job, first game. It's like, no, it's the same stuff that's been happening for years. Shout out to Alex Baldwin. Alex Baldwin was at the game.
Okay.
Shout out, Alex. Watching the game on TV, it was pretty boring. I said at the beginning of the stream, I think I said it was probably the most boring preseason game I've ever watched. Offensively, it was bad. Like, it was bad. Like, the offensive play calling on both sides was not amazing. It was just rough. What's going on, Godson? Or Godson 2. Let's see here. YPC says, it's crazy how you can be the number one best run-heavy team that don't do play actions like the Chrysler making Jeeps. They can't go off-roading. That is the greatest analogy I've ever heard.
Oh, man. That's crazy. But a good way to look at it, though.
Like, that's why, like, when you run heavy, play action should work. Look at the Tennessee Titans. Why does Ryan Tannehill get a great passer rating? Because he calls play action, and then it just doesn't work. For the Ravens, it doesn't work. But then, Ryan Tannehill calls play action, everybody bites. Everybody bites on the Ryan Tannehill play action. Ravens bite. Every team that they play, they bite. Because they do play action at the right situation. The Ravens, the benefit is, why does Lamar, every time Lamar is in the backfield, teams have to focus on the run. Because they're like, this could be a quarterback draw, this could be a QB power, QB wrap, any sort of thing. And so that's why a lot of times they kind of sell it for the run, is because they're like, they just think it's going to be a run. But if they could utilize the play action in good situations, in proper situations, 2nd and 1 after a 9-yard run, call a play action, get a deep post, maybe a deep crosser, and let somebody go do something. Absolutely. I completely agree. This was the best play call. The Tyler Huntley touchdown was a great play call. Great play call. Like, I know we criticize Roman a lot. He does have good play calls. But, the old saying is, I believe it's in a restaurant, if you have one bad experience in a restaurant, it takes you 20 more times of eating at that restaurant for you to have a good feeling about it. Same with food. If the first Snickers bar you ever had was terrible, you got to eat 20 good Snickers to forget about that first Snicker. Like, with NFL play calling, with NFL quarterbacks, you make one bad throw, you got to make 20 good ones to make everybody forget. You have one horrible game, have 20 really good games. Greg Roman has about a 1-for-1 ratio of really good calls to really bad calls. And that's not very good. That's a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That's not what we're looking for. Y'all sleep on Huntley. He is potential. We're not sleeping on Huntley. He's our number 2. We talked about this whole stream. He's number 2. He took over our number 2.
I've been on the sleep train. Come on now.
Yeah. I hate all the flags. Now this is, yes. The flags, it's the unnecessary flags. And this isn't just this game. Last year, this happened a lot. 3rd down, Ravens make a big play, flag. All the time. Defensive holding in the secondary, all the time. We get a sack, roughing the passer or taunting. You can't do the unnecessary thing. Okay, I understand sometimes you get a pass interference call. I'm not overly mad about pass interference calls, but it's the tauntings, the unnecessary roughness. That's just discipline.
Yeah.
And Patrick Silverman, yeah, he has better play calling. Just because that's like saying, hey man, that skateboard is better than riding around in a wheelbarrow. What do you mean you need a new car?
Hey Pat, quick question. How many Super Bowls did Greg Roman win? Let me know. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure something out. I mean, yeah, good run offense, but What's
Oh
going
no,
on?
Mark. Oh no, Mark. I missed the game. How was the O-line? The O-line was terrible. It was so bad. It was terrible, but it was all backups. It was pretty much all backups, except for Bradley Bozeman, who went out for one game. But yeah, it was the O-line was horrible. That's why Trace McSorley looked so bad. And who got the taunting penalty? It was Chris Westry. Chris Westry got it. And he did okay. Greg Roman lost one to the Ravens. You know what Greg Roman did against the Ravens? You know what Greg Roman did? We have a Super Bowl ring because Greg Roman's an idiot. He did the exact same thing he does for the Ravens. You know what happened? Future Hall of Fame running back. Even at this time, Frank Gore in the backfield. What is Frank Gore known for? You hand him the ball, it's going to get you 3 yards. They're at what, the 6-7 yard line? 1st and 10. They had timeouts. About 45, 50 seconds left. One timeout. Oh, let's throw a fade to Michael Crabtree. What is the one throw Colin Kaepernick can't throw? The fade route. Like, he wasn't utilizing his players in certain situations. Like, he doesn't play to his players' strengths. He didn't use Frank Gore. Like, everybody talks about the Russell Wilson interception at the goal line. Why didn't you run the ball? Everyone talks about that. Yeah. Why didn't Greg Roman run the ball? And obviously, like, it sounds weird. Like, I'm talking about this with so much emotion. Like, we won the Super Bowl because he was being stupid. But now we see the same thing, and it gets me really mad because we see games against the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, where it's like we run the ball for over 5 yards a carry, and we run the ball 20 times. 20 times we run the ball at 5 yards a carry. Why? Why would we do it? Because he just doesn't utilize the situation properly. And that's the very unfortunate dilemma of Greg Roman. And that's why we hope that T. Martin and Keith Williams can change something. Now, like I've said before, imagine they had like a minute and a half left in the game with one timeout. They could have run. They were first and goal with a minute and a half left or a minute left with one timeout. You could easily run the ball 4 times in that amount of time. I'm not even saying run it 4 times. 4 times.
Okay, Pat, let me ask you this question. Okay, since you answered that one. If we don't make it to the Super Bowl, who do you keep? Do you let Lamar Jackson go? Or do you let your offensive coordinator go?
Like, do you think that Greg Roman needs to get promoted or something? Like you're going to be able to run those plays, and those are the type of plays that, like I said, he could be just calling this, as like a stock random game, but that's how he calls regular season games, and that's the issue. But it's really tough to watch. Really, really tough to watch. But all right. Any other questions that y'all have? That game was some cheating with the power. That's also true. The power outage, that shouldn't have been a close game in the first place.
I definitely blame it on Beyonce for her performance too. So yeah, most definitely. She took all the power. Y'all know where the game was playing in New Orleans, and they were just trying to get back up and running. So yeah, I blame it on Beyonce.
Let's see. If y'all don't have any more questions, we may end the stream. If you do, we can keep going. I live on the West Coast, so I'm definitely not that tired. But why does Shiro change the post? I don't think he does change. He's the same guy. It's just more like we just focus on it more.
No, he does change because he goes more in panic. He goes more in panic mode. Like, think about it. We played against Buffalo. The run wasn't as effective. So what did we start doing? We started passing as if we was the Kansas City Chiefs, and look, that wasn't our identity. It really got us nowhere. It got us more in trouble than anything. And then on top of that, our defense was tired as hell. So,
well, I don't think it's postseason. I think it's just big games. I mean, it's the same thing as the Chiefs. Yeah. Every time we play a good team, he plays scared, and it definitely shows. And I think we have to look at Harbaugh. At some point, if he is not fired in the season, we have to look at him. And I think John Harbaugh should be fired if the Ravens struggle. If Greg Roman still struggles and Harbaugh doesn't fire him, he should be gone. And I love Harbaugh. I think he's a very good coach.
That's a solid statement. Honestly, me personally, if things don't work out, I feel like it's a two-way ticket for Harbaugh and G-Roll. And I would actually promote Wink to head coach. That man got swag. He on the sideline with his chain. He remember with his gold chain, man. Y'all know what time it is.
Wink would scare me because I feel like Wink's the type of guy, it would be 4th and 30 at his own 10, and you'd be like, we're going for it. This is our time. We play risky out here.
That's my dog.
Like, he would send it. Like,
he out there with the crab legs, finger looking good, man. That's my dog. I like the type of energy he brings.
What sort of play calling would you like to see week 2? Run the ball. We've been close to the Chiefs one time when we played them.
Yep.
We ran the ball all game long, rookie year Lamar Jackson. And we almost won. If not for a 4th and long, great throw by Mahomes, kind of a broken coverage against Tyreek Hill, we win that game. And that was through running the football consistently and not playing like the Chiefs. Because they play into the narratives way too much. Way too much they play into the narratives. All they see in not just ESPN, right? I'm sure the Ravens reporters, they write about it. Mahomes versus Lamar. That's all we hear about. Patrick Mahomes has a 3-0 record against Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson. Here are his stats. Here's the side-by-side comparison. And they go out there and they throw out Lamar Jackson. They say, you're going to beat Patrick Mahomes playing like you're Patrick Mahomes. And it's not how you beat him. Don't fight fire with fire when you got 300 gallons of water right next to you. Use the water. Like, the Ravens can run. How do you beat the Chiefs? You run the football, you play defense. That's all you got to do. It's all you have to do to beat the Chiefs. Ravens could run the ball and they could play defense, but when they play the Chiefs, they pass the ball. And that's the entire flaw. That's why they lose. I'm not saying they would win every time if they ran the ball, but they'd win 50% of the time. I legitimately think they'd win half the time. I think they'd be very even, and it would be looked at like a truly historic rivalry. It would be on that Manning-Brady level. But instead, it looks like the Ravens get destroyed because the Ravens don't play the right way. And I see people talking, best way to beat the Chiefs, keep Mahomes off the field. Yes. Mahomes makes a lot of mistakes. Like, force a pick, which the Ravens have done. They've picked off Mahomes. They've stopped the Chiefs. But then what happens? 3 straight passes, 3 and out, punt the ball back.
So let me ask you this. Week 2, do you feel like now – it's a hard question to ask, but I'm going to ask it. Do you feel like we have we can generate enough pressure between veterans and rookies in our front 7 to keep Money Man Pat off his feet?
I do think that. I think that the speed that we have, because Mahomes, how he beats us is he beats us when he gets out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Patrick Queen attacks the ball when the ball's outside of the pocket, the way that Odafe Away, his speed,
mm-hmm.
Tyus Bowser's speed, we can catch him. Like, that's all we got to do. Like, it's not like we got to shut him. We don't have to hold the Chiefs to 7 points.
Yeah, respect. I'll give him 21. I'll give him 21.
Give them 21 points. And that may be 21 points, and they score on 60% of their drives. But they only get 5 drives. Because the Ravens took up 8, 9, 5, and 7 minutes of clock on their drives. And that's how they win the game. Keep it out, run the football, play defense, and get a couple of stops. They play like they need to get every stop. You don't need every stop. Make 2 plays. Get a sack on 2nd and long. Get a sack on 2nd and 10. Get a pick. Get a fumble. Heck, get 2 sacks on 3rd and long or 2nd and long and force them into bad situations. Like, that's all you need to beat them. If you don't, I'm a Stanford football fan. I brought this up. Stanford had a rivalry with the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks were known for scoring 50 points per game in college. They would slaughter everybody. Everybody. Except for Stanford. You know why? Stanford would go out there. They would run the ball every single play. Every play. The Ducks would finish the game with 20 points. They'd score on every possession except for one. Because Stanford ran the ball for 3 yards a carry with Toby Gerhart every single play. And that's how they're able to win that game. Because they looked at it and they said, we're not going to stop them. Maybe we'll get a pick, or maybe for some reason they drop an easy pass because they're so fast. They're so tough to stop. Marcus Mariota is a beast. It's going to be so tough. But maybe they make one mistake. And we beat them because they only get 4 drives. And that's how they played them. And that's how they would go. They went about 50-50 in both of their kind of heydays as like quote-unquote national champion contenders. That's what they were trying to be. They were top 10 ranked teams. That's how they did it. Was they recognized this is a great offense. Let's run the football. Keep it out of that offense. And that's how you beat those high-scoring teams. That's how you beat Clemson. That's how you beat Baylor. That's how you beat Oklahoma. Keep it out of their hands.
Damn. Y'all are chatting.
I know. There's so many comments.
I love it though. Listen, I told y'all earlier, y'all help us, y'all keep us going, man, for real.
Yeah, and I see like the issue with this. Greg has to be fired by John. I don't know if John is confident enough to fire him. And that's what's scary. And that's why I think John does a great job as head coach. Except for when it comes to recognizing his staff.
It comes down to EDC pulling that trigger. I give him all the respect because he has made some good trades during the midseason. He has made some good draft picks. But the question is now, we've been at it. We've been a contender. Do you let go this tandem? And are you ready to part ways? Because let's be if we being real, John was on the hot seat when we drafted Lamar. And that's why you see John, that's why John is so, hey, Lamar, he's always talkative. I mean, yes, he's a player's coach, but hey, in other words, like, listen, man, you keep doing your thing. I can still be here. I can still be here. But at the same time, it's like, if we're supposed to be chasing the ring, why does it still feel like a level of complacency? All these guys are hungry. All these guys are ready to go to work. All these guys are ready to win. These guys got a chip on their shoulder. But you only go as far as your captains go, as your leaders go, And John Harbaugh, Wink, Greg, Ryan, T and Keith, those are those leaders. Those are those captains. These guys are the generals and soldiers, and they're supposed to follow out their captain's orders. So, but it gets wild when your generals start questioning the captain's motives or plays. When your general doesn't trust their leader, then something has to be done. So
yeah, and neither of us have said fire him today.
Yeah,
we're expressing our concern of that if he doesn't change, which was the whole discussion last year. If he doesn't change, fire him. That's why we've always said week 5. That's been our whole thing the whole year. The Colts game, that offense isn't looking improved. That's when you make changes. Who should the Ravens go for with offensive coordinator? I think T. Martin would be an interesting guy to bring in. There's a couple of guys that we could bring in. However, we see this. And also, okay, would you rather have 400 yards passing and a loss or 250 yards running in the W? Look at the big games. Look at the big games, Drew. How many points are the Ravens scoring in big games? When they play the Chiefs, when they play the Bills in the playoffs, when they play the Chargers in the playoffs, when they play the Titans in the playoffs. They're not putting up the 30 plus that they put up, in the regular games. They're putting up 14, and then maybe they get a garbage time touchdown. And maybe it makes it 21 or 24. Greg Roman does fine against garbage teams. Garbage defenses. We go against Jacksonville, yeah, it'll be great. We go against the Chiefs, who don't even have a good defense. We struggle. That's the issue. It's not the consistent games. It's the big games. That's when he struggles. He's like the Avatar, man. When the world needed him most, he vanished.
Oh, man. He brings up young Aang.
Here
like young Midoriya plus Ultra.
gotta be Yang. And then our defense couldn't keep up. No defense is going to keep up with the Chiefs. That's the whole problem with the Chiefs. That's why they're so tough, is your offense has to keep up. But the Ravens offense doesn't play Ravens football. That's the problem.
Offense wasn't the problem. You sure it wasn't about?
What game could the Ravens offense working in the big games that they've lost?
Speed can match up speed, but if you're getting, 3 and outs, the defense is tired. They don't want to go back out there just so soon. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all connected. You can't send. I'm sorry. Nobody in this chat is going to be able to go out there, play a drive against Tyreek Hill at cornerback. Let's say you're Marlon Humphrey. You're guarding Tyreek Hill for a drive. Ravens go 3 and out. You get 2 minutes of rest. Then you're like, oh, guard Tyreek Hill again. Nobody's going to be able to do that.
Nobody. Didn't Eric Weddle and C.J. Mosley miss a tackle on a one-legged Tyreek Hill? I'm still pissed to that. I'm still pissed at that to this day. And he scored. I think he scored. I don't know. I think he scored on that play. Man, come on, man.
Our run-first team didn't have to start throwing. We started throwing, and then we fell behind. We were averaging 5 yards per carry when we started throwing, and then we got consistent 3 and outs. We didn't run. That was the problem with the game. That's why we complained. If we lose by 7 points and it's a good called game, I'm fine. If we lose by 7 points and if we win and it's a poorly called game, I'm upset. Because I know in the future, that's going to come back and bite us. That's what you have to look at. You can't look at just the win or the loss. It's great to get the win, but I'd rather lose in a regular season game on a really well-called game where the other team was just better that day. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's maybe 3-4 teams in the NFL that can beat us when we have a great game. The Chiefs can beat us. I think the Niners could beat us. Maybe the Packers, maybe. And maybe the Rams could beat us.
You taking the Niners with Trey Lance?
I love Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance.
I would take the Colts. I would swap out the Niners and take the Colts.
Yeah, but most teams, when the Ravens play really well, if they beat us, they're a really good team. But whereas, if we lose to a team and we have we beat a team, we beat the Jaguars, and Greg Roman called the game horribly, I'm upset. I'm upset. That's what we have to focus on, because you can't call a bad game against those other teams. You can't call a bad game against the Niners. You can't call a bad game against the Chiefs. You can't call a bad game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because you'll lose. You got to get rid of those bad called games entirely. And this was a bad called game. And now, at the same time, I've said this plenty of times in this live stream. It is preseason. They could be just slacking. But we've seen so many times bad called games by Greg Roman in the regular season, even when they are against bad teams.
Yeah.
That's the whole problem. So I don't understand it. But
I'm just watching the chat. Pat is defending his he's standing behind the statement. Hey, I love it. I ain't mad at it. I mean, I understand where you're trying to come from. I do see where you're going with it, but I guess I'm just tired. I'm tired of the G-Roll era in a sense.
yeah, I will say John Harbaugh is not an X's and O's coach. He's not. That's not what he is. He's not a schemer.
What do y'all hear him get praised for? Special teams. That man knows how to get a kicker.
And he knows how to get you to rally. He's a player's coach. I love a player's coach. That's my favorite type of coach. So that means he relies heavily on the OC and the DC. Mm-hmm. Greg Roman's the OC. He controls that entire offense. Harbaugh has the say when it's 4th and 1, do you go for it? But Greg Roman's calling all those plays. This isn't Andy Reid, where he can look at Eric Bieniemy and say, no, we're doing this. This isn't Matt LaFleur. I don't even know who the OC in Green Bay is right now. But Matt LaFleur is the X's and O's type of coach. Kyle Shanahan, X's and O's type of coach. They have the final say. They call the games. John Harbaugh doesn't call the game. Greg Roman does. Greg Roman struggles. If Harbaugh was calling these games, the Ravens would be terrible. Harbaugh cannot call a game. He can't. That's not what he is. He's still a great coach. He's still a top 10 coach in the NFL. But he's a player's coach. And so that means that you rely heavily on the OC and the DC. Mike Tomlin is a player's coach.
You think so?
Mike Tomlin's a good coach. Sean Payton is an X's and O's coach. Yeah, you can be a DB coordinator, but you just get him on there. Yeah, this is what we need. Yeah, we need the kid from Yale to call our plays, the statistical analysis guy.
Hey, man, let's go for it.
The other thing, isn't Greg Roman in the box? I can't remember if he is.
Yeah, he's in the box. Listen, if I was Harbaugh, I'll be, hey, Greg, come on, man. You got to get your behind down here on the field.
You got to listen. I feel like there's a reason why Hollywood and wide receivers are getting mad. They can't talk to the coach. Yeah, you can get on the phone and you can call him up. But, oh my gosh. Lamar Jackson would.
Yes.
If you put Lamar Jackson in Kyle Shanahan, I don't know, maybe this is referencing Mike Shanahan, maybe. But Kyle Shanahan developed upon the Mike Shanahan system. If you put Lamar in that Kyle Shanahan system, oh my God. You guys know who runs the Kyle Shanahan system? LaFleur, Sean McVay. Two coaches that are heavily praised. That's Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree. If he was there, oh my gosh. If he was in Baltimore, Ravens would have multiple Super Bowls. Multiple Super Bowls.
Oh, okay, Pat. We finally agree on something. I like that. Oh man, I like that we could finally agree on something, man. I'm just saying, man. You've been out here defending your case all night. We definitely do groom coaches. They have left this organization and blossom in certain places, but and some have gotten good jobs and still haven't done the best. I mean, look at Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell had some good times with us, but look what he did when he left us. David Culley, he wasn't a good guy, but he ended up getting a head coaching job. Rex Ryan been all around. He was all around the league as a head coach, and he didn't have the best. He didn't had the best success. Who else? Marvin Lewis, the most tenured coach. And the Bengals finally decided to let him go. I'm just saying, man. Just saying.
And I will say, John Harbaugh, where does he come from? Who is his coaching tree? Andy Reid.
Andy Reid.
Probably the best coach in the NFL currently.
Yeah. A lot of guys
got
named coach under Andy Reid doing the thing.
Like, that's what's tough. And I don't know. Do we have any more questions, or are y'all just going to keep arguing in the chat about?
Now the debate continues.
The debate continues. Can we go back to thinking about Sack Daddy nicknames?
That
was a good time.
Find out next time on TTB.
This ain't Dragon Ball Z.
Listen, actually, speaking of Dragon Ball Z, how do y'all feel about Ultra Instinct? What else can they do at the Ultra Instinct?
I don't actually watch Dragon Ball Z. I just know.
Oh man, you gonna make me feel old? You gonna make me feel old?
No, people my age watch Dragon Ball Z.
I sure will hope so, because it's not all just about Plus Ultra with Young Midoriya, My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer. Even though they had some good movies, don't get me wrong.
All right, let's talk about this. Running back 3. I think it should be.
We in agreement. Y'all know who.
Nate McCrary. Nate McCrary been my guy ever since I started watching him. Oh my goodness, he is fun to watch. I even tweeted out mid-game. I tweeted out, y'all are hyping up Tyson Williams. Y'all are gonna be going crazy when Nate McCrary steps onto the field. Coach Belichick. Belichick is an X's and O's type coach.
Most definitely.
Belichick is the ultimate X's and O's type coach. He looks at the defense. He looks at the offense.
That's a big guru.
Like he's the ultimate. He is in there watching film constantly. Here we go. Pick 2. Wait, who's Jelly? Am I being stupid or
Jelly? I don't know.
It's probably a nickname for somebody. Is that Justin Ellis? I would assume Justin Ellis. Would that be Jelly?
It might be.
That makes the most sense. I'm picking Josh Oliver, and I'm picking Ardarius Washington. Easily. Okay, I was right. It is Justin Ellis. Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
I'm going with the last 2.
I'm gonna take the last 2 as well. Jelly's a more older guy on the interior. You know, like I said, I'm big on Broderick and Matabuke, and also, you know, from what I've seen out of Smith, I don't know how old he is or how long he's been in the league. I definitely gotta look that up. But I feel like, you know, he was around the ball. He's good. If he's a young guy, that's good. That's good for us, because, you know, eventually we will have to be moving away from Brandon Williams and Calais.
Yeah, it's gonna be really sad. We'll definitely have 3 running backs on the roster because Justice Hill's making the team. So it's whether or not we have 4 running backs is the question. And I think we will, because I don't think we can run Justice. And we run the ball way too much to not have a 3rd running back in case during the game somebody gets hurt. I don't want Justice to come in. I mean, that's going to stall the offense. You can't run the offense with Justice.
No, sir. No, sir.
What's his longest career run? 17 yards, I want to say.
Shucks.
And if you're playing with Lamar and your career long rush is 17 yards, you're not doing very great. I have not done a 53-man roster yet. No. And we can't keep that many players because we've kept 4 running backs recently. Mark Ingram, J.K., Gus, Justice, 4. And I don't think we're going to keep 3 quarterbacks, so that brings up an extra spot. So we definitely have the space to keep 4 running backs. And we've done it recently. So,
damn, Benjamin, hold on, Benjamin. How dare you? You're not going to just say what I think you just said.
Man, does this guy work for PFF? The J.K. Dobbins slander is real.
Now I've been rocking with Benjamin. now you know I love me my running backs. You is not going to say we don't need Ray Rice 2.0. Just come on now. They both bring something very dynamic to the game, man. You gotta respect it, bro.
Luis.
Benjamin, Gus is not better than J.K. Stop it, man. Stop it.
When's the last time we kept 2 fullbacks? I don't think we've ever kept 2 fullbacks. I don't think any team should keep 2 fullbacks.
Did we? Was LaRon McClain and Ovi Mahaley on the team together? Or were they here at different times? Gotta look that up. But look, LaRon McClain was a hybrid, so I don't know.
Anthony Averett looked rough. I agree. I definitely agree. I'm not as big on AV.
I like him for depth, but far as like a starting position,
I don't want him out there.
I don't know, man. He doesn't. He can run. He can run with some of the best of them. He can drape them. But as far as breaking up the pass, he doesn't do it.
I disagree completely, Nana. At the game when Huntley fumbled the ball and Coach Harbaugh was so mad that he snatched Huntley up in the collar for us all present at the game to see, does that make a good sense? No, that being a coach, that you know what happens when you dive for the pylon and Bill Belichick is your coach? He's screaming in your face, even if you score. It's okay to let people know that they messed up. We can't be soft. Like you gotta tell them. Like you gotta, instill that in your players. Ball security.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you have to focus on. I'm okay with a coach grabbing your guy when you really mess up. That was a pivotal drive. I believe we were trying to tie the game or take the lead at that point. We fumble the ball and it's like we can lose this game. And Harbaugh knows that. I think that's completely valid for him to do that. Let him know what's going on. You got to do that.
Oh, you got to tell your players to tighten up, man. Come on, man.
I think it was Coach Bill that cut a running back for fumbling during practice in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, me neither.
Bill is a no-nonsense coach, and the Ravens is a no-nonsense organization. They do not – the Ravens hate turnovers. Remember when Gus turned the ball over on that handoff from Lamar Jackson, in the red zone? Like, I don't think we saw Gus for another, quarter. Like,
Right.
When you run a Ravens, a game like the Ravens run their offense, you can't turn over the football. You can't. They limit the amount of possessions in the game. So that limits the amount of time you have to make up for the fumble. If you fumble the ball, the Ravens are screwed. And you gotta make sure that they understand that. If you guys watched The Wired, what was the biggest thing from there that J.K. Dobbins was being told? Ball security, ball security, ball security. It's all you got to focus on. Keep that ball. So Greg Roman was telling him, focus on it every day. Every single day. That's the only thing that matters. If you take one thing away, hold on to that football. Because when you have Lamar and you run the ball as much as the Ravens do, you got to keep that ball secured.
Definitely.
Huntley running with a ball in one hand. Yeah. Why does Walter Payton have, I believe, 84 fumbles in his career? 84. Now I got to look up the number because I got to know if I got that right. Let's see how good my knowledge is. Let's see here.
Kobe definitely got caught fumbling the ball. That was another one.
And come on. I got to see this. How good is my knowledge? Darn it! 86 fumbles.
Close. That was close.
I was close. Walter Payton played in the NFL how many seasons? 1975, 1987. 12 years. 12 years. How did he run with the football? We love those iconic pictures. Holding that ball in one hand. Sweetness.
Man,
86 times? That's bad.
Listen. Sometimes when guys, I don't know what it is. Sometimes with guys with natural ability, the way they did, they just felt like they can hold it out real loosely like that, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but hey, we'll learn.
It's like the biggest thing. It's the easiest thing. Why is the Ravens defense so good? Because they capitalize on people not paying attention and they fumble. The Ravens capitalize on it. They punch that ball every chance they get. They rip at that ball. Why? Because it's the simplest turnover. You can get one every single time someone touches the ball. You can force that ball out. And if they have one slip up, one play they're not paying attention, one play they're a little loose, the Ravens capitalize, they pick up that ball, and they're going the other way. That's the easiest thing to focus on. Concentrate on holding the ball. It's the biggest thing. I can't believe we've been streaming for 2 hours a day. Man, we've been how much did we have we streamed today? We streamed an hour before the game. So
that's 3.
Look at that! Shout out to you guys. You guys are making it fun though. It makes it a lot more entertaining to stream when there's a lot of people in the chat. We're asking questions, we're talking about stuff, rather than when it's just us kind of rambling about random things.
And within 3 hours, we maybe then had over 160 people in the stream altogether.
Oh yeah,
we done jumped up to like 82 today. Well, this evening. So
yeah, and it's been awesome. So shout out to all of you guys for being in the chat. Let's see here.
We need someone to flock to meet us at the game this season or something.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to do that. We absolutely have to do that. Here's a good question. Who will force the most turnovers this season?
I think it's going to be Malik, because Malik going to get as much snaps as PQ.
Okay. Now I got to ask you, how many picks and how many forced fumbles?
I see him getting more forced fumbles. I see him getting maybe about 10. He's a thumper.
10?
Yeah, I can see him getting 10.
I think that's the NFL record is 10 forced fumbles in a season.
He's a thumper, man. He loves to hit. He's not scared of contact. We've been seeing that. So I feel like it's going to work in our favor. I love it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's an interesting answer. I wasn't expecting that one. I was thinking Patrick Queen, but let's see.
Malik understood the game faster than Patrick. Patrick got more athleticism than Malik. So they both have, similarities. But I think because Malik sees the game at a slower rate and still can be, fast and smart, I feel like it's going to be him that really gets those turnovers, because people, when it comes to like those run plays, a lot of people are going to keen in on PQ as the initial block.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm going with the safest pick. I'm going with Juice Man. Marcus Peters going to get, I'll say 7 total turnovers forced. 6 picks. 1 forced fumble that's recovered. I think that would be solid. But, that's what I'm thinking. What's going on in Graven? Yeah, we're still going. We've been going forever. We got through so many topics. And we still haven't even talked about like half the roster, which is the best part.
Patrick think I'm going crazy, man. Patrick think I'm going crazy, man. I'm saying I've been seeing something that you haven't been seeing, man.
Patrick's living in the Twilight Zone. He's just watching. Oh, here's a great question. How do you not go Humphrey? I thought about Humphrey. The issue with Humphrey is a lot of his forced fumbles don't result in turnovers. I think about 4 or 5 forced fumbles last year went straight out of bounds. And that's not a turnover. If we go total turnover opportunities, I would go with him. However, a lot of times the Ravens just don't capitalize because he's on the sideline and he... Sorry, I read a comment. And he tackles him on the sideline, he punches out, bounces out of bounds. Ravens can't get it. Like that just is the issue with him for forcing turnovers. But like, if you want the likelihood of him to force turnover in a game, it's higher than Marcus. But Marcus is just safer because he'll get picks, which are automatic turnovers forced. But let's see here. Number 6 still makes me mad. He gave up on a play, then the quarterback ran his way. No, that's not how it happened. So So he's talking about Patrick Queen's sack.
Okay.
Patrick Queen right there on that play was the outside contain. Outside contain means you're not going for a sack. You are making sure that the quarterback doesn't escape the pocket. In this sense, it's Taysom Hill, who is known as a mobile player, mobile quarterback. He's trying to get outside. Patrick Queen got to the tackle, bumped into him to one, hold him outside. But at the same time, when Patrick Queen is blitzing and he does that, and he takes that tackle, there's no more double team. Now you got 5 men, everybody's one-on-one. That's why he's doing that. It's not so he can get that sack. It's to take up a blocker to allow for one-on-ones for everybody else. And it's to make sure the quarterback can't get outside. So what happened? He disengaged. Quarterback broke contain. See ball, get ball. That's what he did. It was executed perfectly. It was a great play by him. Do not be upset at that play. That is what that was designed to do. He was designed to be the contain on that play.
It's literally the little things that make sure.
Yeah, that's what makes it very like watching football is so, like so many times you see things and it seems different, it seems weird, but then like when you analyze it a lot, then you're like, okay, that's why they did that, and that's why a lot of times when you have like a poor color commentator or something like that, they don't really bring that up. They actually brought that up, I believe, on the broadcast with Rod Woodson and
yeah.
What's going on, Vids? How you doing? Welcome into the stream. Let's see here. Humphrey been getting with Marcus Peter Juice Man about getting Humphrey's interceptions up this year. The issue with Humphrey, so more analysis from myself on Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is not an interception corner. Marlon Humphrey plays corner the same way Jalen Ramsey plays corner. Okay? It's a great way to play. It's not the way Dion played, but it's still a great way. He does not look at the ball when the ball is in the air. It's more consistent this way. He doesn't look at the ball. He looks at the wide receivers, looks at their hands. When the hands go out, he sticks his hand inside because all he's looking, because if you ever ran track or anything like that, if you're running, you look at the guy next to you, that slows you down. You look up for the ball, slows you down. If you're looking only at the guy you're covering, you're going to be able to stay at top speed. So when those hands go out, he sticks his hand inside, ball comes in, he either slashes or he pulls. That's how he does it. That's how he plays corner. Same way Jalen Ramsey plays cornerback. Marcus Peters is different. Marcus Peters, the ball goes in the air, he turns that head, he goes for the pick. This is the same reason why when the 49ers played the Ravens and Marcus Peters goes up and goes like this, and Deebo Samuel's on his other side catching a touchdown pass, and he goes, man, I turned the wrong way. That's the risk. Do you go for the incompletion, or do you go for the pick, which is more risky? Marlon goes for the incompletion, but also that typically results in more pass interference penalties. So they're both risk rewards. They're just different types of players, and I think it's both very good. Marlon gets interceptions when it's a tipped ball, when he's facing, maybe it's a comeback route or something like that. That's when he can get it in. But that is why he doesn't get as many interceptions. That is the analysis. And yeah, in Alabama, that's what DBs are taught. Yes, because Nick Saban knows you're a lot more likely, especially in college. It's very rare where you get a true ball hawk, someone like a Marcus Peters, someone like a Deion Sanders. It's tough, but let's see here. Yeah, Marlon Humphrey did break Suggs' record for forced fumbles. Marlon had 8, I believe. Here's an interesting one. Who's winning the number 2 safety battle? Because all three, I'm assuming this is free safety. Because Anthony Levine is the backup strong safety. We look at all the players. We look at Ardarius Washington around the football, made a diving swat, got to the quarterback, was playing very well. Brandon Stevens led the team in tackles all around the football. Geno Stone, 2 interceptions on tipped balls. Who's number 2?
Pat, I'm going to get with you in a second. Anywho, if Geno keeps stacking and keeps making plays, I can see him being like the next Deshaun Elliott. But the thing is, he has to be that ball hawk that we drafted. So I can see him being possibly number 2. Not saying that he's better than Brandon Stevens. Brandon Stevens, when he played corner at SMU, he was more of a pass breakup guy. He definitely shows he can for sure tackle. He shows that he has athleticism. But as far as, being at the right place, right time, Geno Stone showed that today. So I'm going to go with Geno for right now.
Okay.
And I'm Brandon out.
I'm going to go with Ardarius. I really liked what I saw from him. And number 2, I'm going to say Brandon Stevens. I think both of those players could have made the plays that Brandon Stone made. And, he was in right place, right time. Props to him. But I liked what I saw more from those other guys. But they all played very, very well. Vid says Stone was MVP. I would disagree. My MVP, we can go through our MVPs. I've got Tyler Huntley. Yeah, he had the fumble. But overall, he was the complete offense. He made great plays using his legs. There were so many third downs where he was just taking off, getting that first down, and making that next play. And he wasn't doing amazing. Like, he didn't play a perfect game, but he was the reason why they won. Like, the entire defense played well. So, like, just saying Geno Stone, who got 2 picks, like, yeah, that's nice. But we had 6 turnovers. There were a lot of turnovers to go around for this team. But what do you think? Who's your MVP?
I would say that front 7, honestly. I like the way the defensive linemen and the edge rushers were, making the quarterback nervous, getting some applying pressure, making those guys uncomfortable. This is something that we definitely been preaching about. This is something we've definitely been looking forward to. And our interior guys like Broderick Matabuke, Dalen Hayes, Odafe, those guys was really answering the call. So I'm gonna say that front 7, they was really getting after it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. I mean, they were the reasons why, which is crazy because the front 7's been the concern about this defense. But I guess our depth in the front 7's pretty darn good. That's a great topic. Yes, Owe lining up a gunner. I really wish.
I just told you, he has crazy athleticism. So, him and Westry was out there together. So
I think he's the most athletic player on the team.
Yeah, listen, where he's from, it's gonna be like that. I'm sorry to say it. I believe he was number 90.
That's true.
Oh, yes, he's getting cut. He's got to get cut after this game. He got to get cut after this game.
Yeah, the energy in the stadium, it absolutely did. I mean, the way that we were watching that game and like Trace was going back, it just seemed poor. It was just like, ugh. Even though they put up similar numbers, it literally seemed like complete 2 different. Like, it was like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Like, Trey put up, and it was like, oh, that was terrible. But then Tyler did like the same numbers, and it was like, oh, that was amazing. Because the stats don't tell the entire story. They don't.
Oh, hold on, Luis. I don't know if he's going to be. I don't know he's going to be the top athletic player in this league because
I think he's up there. I think he's in the top 10.
But you got to think about Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons was going crazy out there for Dallas. I mean, I look at him. I look at Owe, of course. I look at Parsons. I look at Chase Young, guys like them.
Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is up there.
Yeah, Odell when he's healthy.
No, see, now it's Hill and Odafe.
No, sir. No,
we got to keep Hill. We keep Hill and Odafe, and then they both are gunners, and then it's amazing.
Okay, Pat. Yeah, Micah may be lighter, but he's still crazy with the athleticism. I
don't know. I would say Odafe is more athletic. Micah Parsons is more, I don't know, skilled, I guess is the right. I don't know. They play different positions. He flies around. Like, how do you feel about the pass rusher play? Very difficult to judge. Now, the rookies did pretty solid, but I say, Luis says he was the 11th most athletic player on the register. Interesting. Okay. But now I got to go back. Where was that question? Darn it! Oh, here it is. Found it. we didn't have any of our best edge rushers. So we didn't have Calais, who's not an edge rusher, but our pass rushers. We didn't have Calais. We didn't have Justin Houston. Those are the top two guys. But I felt like even, without those guys, Adafe was solid. He was very solid, Adafe was. And so was Dalen Hayes, I felt like was solid. Tyus Bowser, I believe, played. I'm pretty sure.
He got a little bit. I see
he looked solid. Like they looked solid off the edge. And now, obviously, they didn't have their starting tackles playing. Their Pro Bowl level tackles, which makes it more difficult to judge. But it was pretty good. I was happy with it. They made plays. They were able to do their thing. So I felt pretty solid. I'm excited to see what happens. But yes, Adafe is significantly bigger than Rousseau. Rousseau is very skinny, but he's very lanky. He's very interesting to watch. I like Rousseau. He's just an intriguing player. Let's see here.
Benjamin, that's an understatement. Odafe Way will be better than Matt Judon.
I mean, this year he will probably be better than what Matthew Judon was to the Ravens last year.
Yeah.
Like Matthew Judon was a run-stopping outside linebacker. Well, we saw Adafe do exactly that, and that's what he was known for in college. He was one of the best run-stopping players in college football last year, and that's what we need. And I think YPC is completely right. We need more speed.
Absolutely.
And power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Judon on those screens. Yeah, but Adafe can get after a screen. And his athleticism makes it so that Patrick Queen, who's crazy athletic, and Malik Harrison, who's pretty athletic, can both be wherever they want on the field and make those other tackles. That's what I think. Also, I do think Lamar will start next week. I don't think he'll play in the final preseason game. That's typically how the Ravens do it, but there is a week off. So Lamar will only play in one preseason game, I think. I don't know which one it'll be. But I bet Huntley does start. That would be my expectation. Because I think they'd want to see. I think that was probably the plan last week. Okay. Was say both of them get a starting opportunity, then the final game, whoever we're liking more, we start then. Yeah, he did blitz. I do remember seeing that. I can't remember the exact play, but I do remember watching that and being like, okay, Gino.
I saw they were sending Brandon too on a lot of dialed up blitzes as well. I feel like Brandon Stevens could be that guy that just everybody loses and with all the pieces that we have on the defense, and he can just make plays. Because Deshaun Elliott said he's a very quiet guy. He wants him to speak up more, things of that nature, but he definitely commends him on, making that transition to playing defense. And, he definitely talked about his work ethic as well. So, who knows if he does make it, if he makes it on the field, like during the regular season, be ready to see some highlight plays.
Yeah. And team sacks, I think it will be greater than 30. I want to say we had 32 last year was our number last year. And the Steelers had like 50 or something like that. So I think so. I would say more than 30. I would think 35 to maybe even 40 sacks this year.
That'd be a big upgrade for us, most definitely.
What do we think about this? Versatile DB. He says other than Marlon, because Marlon is a Pro Bowler at both slot and outside corner.
Not right now, Pat. Not right now.
But who's more versatile? He may be. I mean, he can technically play safety and corner.
I mean, yeah, it just okay. All right.
Like versatile. He's not the second best.
Okay. I'll give you that for right now. I would, if a healthy Jimmy Smith, because you can line Jimmy Smith up on tight ends as well.
Hold on. I'm looking something up to answer a question really quickly.
What would be better if we had kept Benjamin?
computer's being all slow.
That's a good question.
Okay. So, this question. Here we go.
All right.
Now I got to find it. There's too many comments. Let's see here. Would we be better if we had kept Zadarius Smith?
Okay.
I say no. I say no. And why I say no is the Ravens offered him a contract. It wasn't like we said, no, we don't want you. We offered him a contract at a certain value. I believe it was about $15 million. Or maybe it was like 14 or something like along those lines. We offered him. He said no. He wanted more money, and he got that in Green Bay. Do you know what his cap hit in 2020, the last year of his contract next year, 2022 is?
Talk to me.
$28 million. $28 million cap hit.
Too rich for me, blood.
Like, if we had him right now, like, it wouldn't be viable at all. And that's the issue. And he's only getting, like, and it's because of a restructure that they did. So they shifted it around, but he's making over 14 in base salary, but the cap hit is massive and they had to restructure it. And that's what the Ravens would have had to do. The last few years, they've had to restructure, and it would have gone back to this next year. And what do we need to do next year? Oh, wait a minute. We got to pay Lamar. We wouldn't be able to pay Lamar if we had him. So, no, we're not in a better situation. Or we wouldn't be better off with him because we'd be in a
money. Yeah, I was about to say money-wise, no. But far as someone where we could have maybe got a little bit more production, I feel like he could have opened up. I think it's Zadarius Smith on that left side can open up some more for his opposite side pass rushers, because he was solidifying himself a little more. I feel like he progressed a little more than Matt, in my opinion, as a pass rusher.
Okay, I don't think Trey's played that bad. Like, I think we all are underestimating how bad the offensive line played. I think that's the is our O-line depth is bad. But that's expected. Your backup offensive line shouldn't be very good. I wouldn't expect it to be crazy good, but those are the types of things that are tough to analyze. Like, they even brought it up on the broadcast. It will be difficult to judge this game other than the offensive line, because the wide receivers aren't given the opportunities to run their full routes. The quarterback isn't given an opportunity to sit in the pocket. And now here's a great question. First round DT.
Nope. Sorry, nope.
I think we lose Brandon Williams, but I think we go 3, like third round, like a third round pick, maybe a second round pick. First round defensive tackle is tough. I don't know if there's a guy in this draft, if there's a guy that's like, oh goodness. Like, for example, if Christian Barmore was in next year's draft, I wouldn't draft him. I don't think it would be worth it for the Ravens, especially where they'd be drafting. Like, if there's some crazy top tier defensive tackle, like the most recent would be, I think it was Sue was the most recent, unless
the most recent one was the buddy. Who was the one that went to Auburn? That talked about what he say in the press conference during draft interviews. To get to hit people and not go to jail for it. I love it. I forgot his name, but he just recently got drafted. He came out of Auburn.
I know Javon Kinlaw was taken, I think, 16th overall by the Niners as a D tackle, as a pass rush D tackle out of South Carolina. But, like, you're not going to be able to get some stud defensive tackle in the first round. And in my opinion, when you draft a player in the first round, you want there to be like a decent chance that they can become like a Pro Bowl level player. D tackle is not. You can get a really solid D tackle in third, fourth round, and just because they just need a big body, and then you got to get in the technique.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think so. I think looking at it, maybe a safety, maybe.
I see us going right tackle in the first round.
Here, this is. I'm sorry, everybody. You're about to get mad. Maybe a tight end.
Uh-oh.
Wait, whoa. What is this? Ooh. Sorry, I was like clicking on something. I was like, wait, what is this weird box popping up? Keep Mark Andrews 13.5 would be my guess. That's the most that I would pay him. 13.5 yearly. I would love like a 4-year, $52 million deal, which would be 13 a year. But what do you think, Joshua?
I think he gets a 3-year. I think he gets a 3-year extension. Sorry, everybody been hitting my phone up, y'all. But definitely a 3-year extension. Between 25, maybe 40 million. I don't think he gets the big tight end money, but I feel like he gets enough where he possibly may be happy.
Yeah. Any of the running backs impress? Well, I mean, Nate McCrary wasn't impressive because we expected it, but Nate McCrary is that guy. Patrick's out here clowning the Lions.
You know what? Okay. Because I actually said let's draft the right tackle.
Oh, I thought he was clowning the Lions.
You know what, Patrick? I hope you don't live in Baltimore, man. Because at this time, you went to meet me outside the bank. Because you've been questioning everything I got to say. And you know what, Patrick? Since we on the topic of you right now, let's talk about how you question my decision, Malik Harrison getting 10 forced fumbles. And the reason I say that because he's going to be LJ Ford as a middle linebacker on the field. Third of all, they're going to be keening in on Patrick Queen. Fourth of all, it's going to leave a lot of plays to be made up by Malik Harrison. Like I said, Malik Harrison IQ level, it was far more higher than Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen is a sexier pick. Don't get me wrong. I love both of them on the field, but someone that's a thumper that stood up Derrick Henry as well. I'm going with Malik Harrison. I don't care what anybody has to say. Fight me on it, good brother.
Joshua and Patrick is the new biggest rivalry in the AFC North. I don't think we talked about this. Wow, we've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. We may have to cut this off pretty soon. But if Josh Oliver turns out to be the truth, do you think we'll lowball Mark Andrews? No, because I don't think Josh Oliver has. We need a heavy pass catching, like a pass catcher at the tight end spot. Josh Oliver isn't that guy. He's a balanced guy. He can block. He can catch the ball. He's a Hayden Hurst type. We need a pass catcher. If we were going to get it in the last year's draft, it would be Jordan Brevin, I believe was his name, out of Miami. He was the best pass catcher other than obviously Kyle Pitts, who there was no way we were going to draft him. So if we were going to get somebody, it would be us going after a pass catching tight end. We'll see. And, if we look at right tackle, yeah, we could get it in the first round, but at the same time, get it in the second round. We got Orlando in the third round. An offensive tackle that has fallen outside the top 10, it's difficult to project. Offensive tackle's a hit or miss. It's tough to predict them, but I see Death to Beta says, dang, y'all still in here.
Yes, sir.
Man, what you got against us, Death to Beta? Let's see. All right. Well, let's do one more question. So everyone ask a question that they want us to answer, and then we'll pick one. Let's see. Man.
Okay.
Some good ones.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get any more.
Gee. Hey, Luis. All right, Alex. Not bad.
I think it's a good one. The Alex Baldwin one.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go first?
Um, I say we don't go with 7 wide receivers. I feel like we're gonna go with 6. 9 times out of 10, those guys may end up being practice squad or just number roster cut casualties. But I don't see us going 7 wide receivers. I see Sammy, I see Rashad, I see Marquise, I see Dev, James, and Tylen. I think I called out 6.
Yeah, for me, I would agree with you because I think the Ravens are going to do something. I think they're going to IR Dion Kane, and there's a chance that they IR Miles Boykin. And then you could, if somebody gets hurt, you could bring Miles Boykin off of the IR where you can retain their rights. They can't go to another team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're, because he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
I think they could IR him and do that. I think that's what they do. I think they keep 6. And I think you got the 6. If they were both healthy, I would say that the Ravens keep 7. But since they're both hurt, I think the Ravens IR both of them. And we see what goes from there. But, we have Bateman, we have guys that are kind of hurt. But
Yeah.
I think Jalen Moore goes to the practice squad. That's my expectation. Or there's a chance he makes the roster but gets cut when Bateman comes back because we just need a little bit more depth. But we'll see. What universe do you see? He's not. He's not getting cut. He's not getting cut. Too valuable. But I think that is a good spot to wrap it up. We've streamed for almost 4 total hours today. And that the only reason we did that, we're like, okay, our whole thing was, we'll just stream until, y'all want us to stop streaming, we'll stream forever. I did not expect it to go 2 hours and 45 minutes, but, oh no, we got to answer a question. Shout out to Death to Beta for the super chat saying, what are your thoughts on Adafe Way? Thank you so much, Death to Beta. We can talk about Adafe. Joshua, what do you think about Adafe Way tonight?
What's there not to think about Mr. Adafe? The young man showed his strength. He showed his athleticism. He shows that he can definitely sniff a play out. He shows that he can get after the quarterback, and he shows that he can wreak havoc. So I definitely love what he's about to bring. He's a smart young man, and he's hungry. Like JK said, that's one way to describe that team, and you can see a lot of those players out there when they pad up in that black and purple. There's some hungry young dudes, some vets, and they're ready to get after it. They know what's at stake, and he's gonna keep on stacking.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys were in the pregame show, I talked about how Adafe Way, I don't think he'd get a sack, but he'd make some big plays showing off that athleticism. That's what we both kind of said, and that's exactly what he did. He got that nice run stop. He got the almost sack where he blew by the right tackle, or I think it was the left tackle. We were looking at it from the opposite side, so right side, so left tackle. But overall, I was pretty impressed with him, and I think that's what we can come to expect from him. But I really liked what I saw, and I think the Ravens coaching staff also did as well. But I think that's it. Beta said, y'all thought you were leaving.
No, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much for joining the stream, making it a lot of fun. We'll be back, every game of the NFL season, every preseason game. We're going to be doing this before the game, after the game, obviously if we're able to, based on scheduling and things like that. But that's the goal, is to be able to do it as much as possible. It's so much fun. Have fun with you guys. It was a ton of fun, seeing all that stuff. Patrick and going back and forth with Luis, the Sack Daddy comments. I think that I'm going to say this was the most fun stream we've ever done, Joshua.
Absolutely.
And it's
going to get nothing but funner. That's the crazy thing about it, because now we got games.
I know. We've never had this channel with actual NFL games being played, so now we actually get to talk, fully analyze things as they happen, rather than looking back and be like, well, in week 14, when Patrick Queen did this, I analyzed XYZ. No, we get to analyze it with you right after the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. But thank you everybody so much for being a part of the stream. Make sure to tell other Ravens fans if you think they'd be fun in the stream, get them in the stream, get them having them debates. A lot of fun. But thank you everybody.
All right, now
I'm tired. It's 1 a.m. over there. It's only 10 p.m. here, and I'm tired. But see you guys later.